And it's time for rapid reviews. We don't have time. I wanted to be faster, so I shaved my beard off like an aquatic swimmer.
Well, yeah, man, they gotta be hairless.
An Olympian level swimmer, am I?
Microseconds of difference, indeed. That's why I shaved my head originally.
We're gonna break the world record today, man. Most reviews in the least amount of time. Okay, and that was everything that we played.
Here's the thing. Hello, I'm Nick, by the way.
I'm Mike.
We always go into these things.
Tell, but I
forget
am
that
Mike.
people watch these after the fact. This is
Right.
live when we do this. But nonetheless, we're the Brothers Murph. We rapid reviews. We're talking about everything we played in the last 30 days, which was actually a pretty good month. We played 30 games. 20 of them were new, and the fact that we played still averaged basically a game a day in a month where I was gone for like half of it.
Like you were legit out of town and played zero games in that time.
Yeah, yes, played zero. And we still made it
held
up.
down the fort.
Mikey did, and so yeah, so it's still a pretty decent month despite the fact that I was gone for half of it. So
it was not bad, man. Not bad. So we have 30 odd games to get to.
30 games.
Morning to Jared, Corthane, Zib, Slivers. Good morning, everybody.
Hello,
if you are watching this after the fact, we're not live. Turn on live chat. So if we ever are referencing chat, you know what the heck we're talking about.
Yes, indeed.
And also, if you have any questions about stuff we played, what's going on, what's you know. Thoughts about...
Yeah, we'll be doing a Q&A at the end of this, as we always do.
Hit us up.
But yeah, so we're going to go over everything we played in the month. And yeah, it was a pretty good month. Lots and lots of new stuff. And, you know, we're still kind of getting through our Gen Con stuff.
A little bit.
We got a lot of work coming in, and so we're playing a lot of new games for that. And so, yeah, and so... first thing we do is we always acknowledge our new patrons that we got over the last month.
Thank you, patrons. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. A month wrap up. And so we're going to go through our new patrons. If you want to check out our Patreon, it'll be linked down in the description below. Become a patron today. We do like supplemental top 10s over there. We're going to be doing more like first, especially as we're playing a lot of new stuff, more like first impressions right after we play a game. So make sure to check it out if you want to.
And if you're watching this live or after the fact, give this video a thumbs up right now so we can get this out to more people.
That's right. We had Adam Bark.
Appreciate you.
Harry Manassian.
Oh, appreciate you.
We had Michael Bernstein of the Bernstein Bears.
Appreciate you.
I
well,
assume.
Can we get the pledge a little higher then if you're Bernstein Bears money?
We have the White Russian, which I can't not read. What is a White Russian?
It's like
a drink. Milk? I know, but
it's like Kahlua and like half and half and stuff, right? I'm probably getting that wrong, but I don't care. It's things like that.
Gross.
It has a cream. It has like a half and half element.
Yeah. It's like a milk thing, right? It's like okay. yeah, sure. We had Gen Cam plays board game. Love you, Gen Cam. Thank you so much for that.
Appreciate you as always.
And then we had David Radke. Thank you so much, everyone.
So much.
To our new patrons, we really appreciate it.
Big cheers to all of y'all. It means so much to us. We don't just say that to say it, but it really does help us out incredibly. So thank you so much for the support.
So didn't know there's a third brother Murph. The funny thing is there is a third brother Murph. Mike is now the fourth.
I will be the fourth. Yeah.
If we're making that joke, Mike's actually the fourth.
I'm Mike. My name is Mike, and I'm the fourth.
There is another brother and a sister Murph as well.
Indeed. There's a lot of us out there, all told.
Indeed. So we're going to go through all the games we played. Mikey's starting with all the new stuff. We do all the new stuff, and we do these in alphabetical order, and then we'll go through the old stuff as we played them before.
Quick hitters on the old ones, because almost all of those are bangers, because that's why we're replaying them.
Kahlua milk vodka. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Sounds gross.
I said 2 of the 3. I just didn't know what the other alcohol
I assumed it was vodka because it's Russian.
I figured it would be rum or something.
But yeah, vodka and milk.
But Russian, yeah, so vodka.
Terrible, but I
got
don't
2. Shouts out to Big Lasky, the only reason I know anything about a White Russian.
Since you're not going to Essen, unfortunately we're not.
Yeah.
Paula, Matthew, and Dave are all be there. I'm very bummed. Yeah, one day, every year, we're always like, we're going to get there this year. We never do. One day we'll get there.
I'd say the prospects for next year are decent. I'd say the prospects for the year after, so 2025, are almost guaranteed.
I will love to be surprised. I would almost guarantee we're not going next year.
It's going to be a busy year. Yeah, more on that later.
2025, let's go, baby. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and start these rapid reviews. So Mikey, I actually haven't played. It was a big DeVere month, first of all. We played a lot of DeVere games.
Dude, DeVere's
Mikey played 3 Ring Circus. I still haven't played it.
I know. So I almost suggested this for yesterday, actually.
Oh, really?
We ran out of time. But
we did.
So I did a solo play of 3 Ring Circus. There is a solo mode in it where you play against. It's like the has a fun name.
You're playing against the bears and the lions.
It's like a robotic show. So like it's just like it's the Amazing Automaton show or something like that. So anyway, you're going.
Chuck E. Cheese. So you're playing against Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, and it helps. Yeah, it's kind of yes. It's like which is more high entertainment.
Yeah.
So in this game, you are building out like a tableau of these cards and stuff that are different performers and different acts and things you can do. And you go around to different towns. There's kind of like small towns, medium towns, and large towns. And they all have different kind of requirements and different things that they will provide you.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of trying to get the right tableau of performers to maximize that. This is one that, after just soloing it, I am not sold on this game.
Really?
I didn't love it. Solo.
Ooh, don't let Jeff hear that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fair, like,
Okay.
I want to play a multiplayer game.
Does it seem like the solo game is similar to the multiplayer game?
I think so,
Okay,
a little bit.
interesting.
So it's just one of those things where like each of the town things are like really different. So there's these things like certain performers will provide you essentially iconography and stuff. And you can look at your tableau and all the things you have, all the pedestals, for example, will help you specifically in the medium towns. Like the medium towns are the only things that care about pedestals.
Okay.
And so, I don't know. It just like, the thing that was weird for me is just like, okay, I need a bunch of pedestals, but, well, okay, but it's only for this one type of thing. And then the main thing that kind of like messed with me was the large cities need like a specific performer. They want a specific color and number.
Okay.
And I thought it was like a threshold thing, like an orange 10, and anything orange 10 or above is good. It's like, no, you need an orange 10. And so it's like, well, then maybe you're hunting for that card and it doesn't come up and stuff. So like, I'm bummed to say like, at least off the solo play, I am not sold on this game yet.
Okay.
But
wow.
I think multiplayer will enjoy it more.
Okay.
So I'm not going to.
I still want to try it. Yeah.
I'm only going to give this review is only pertaining to the solo experience.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I wouldn't do that again.
Wow.
But I do want to try the multiplayer. But I'm a little bit like
the shocker.
I don't think it's.
Wow, the shocker.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Hey, that's it. You know, they can all win.
I was
you
just
know?
like, dang.
Dang, that's interesting. Okay.
And I went in because I went in way high.
It was one of my most exciting games from Gen Con. Yeah.
Three-ring circus. Yeah.
Man. Okay. I'm gonna play After Us. I played this a couple times. It's on BGA, and it's really good. I liked it a lot. So this is a new Panasonic game.
You clundabled it.
We clunded it. Yeah,
Clunded it.
there's a term called clunding. I think it's from the Board Game Barrage Discord. Someone whose name is Clund or something like that.
Go ahead and explain.
Basically, what clunding is a lot of people on BGA will just start a game.
Board Game Arena, by the way.
Yeah, Board Game Arena. We'll start a game without reading the rules, and just because BGA, a lot of times you hover over a card, it tells you exactly what they do. Yeah. And basically, they will try and just learn a game by fumbling through it on BGA, and that term has now become clunding, and things have clundability ratings. Like basically, how well can you learn the game by just fumbling through it on BGA? And there's different things with different clundability ratings. After Us, super highly clundable.
There you go.
Peak clundability. We've learned the game through half the first time playing it.
That's pretty good.
And so
it's kind of like a nice metric for how intuitive the game is.
Yes, totally. And it was. And we played it like 3 times back to because it's pretty darn short. And so After Us is a game where it's after us, people are gone, but primates are still around. But it's not like, I don't think it's like Planet of the Apes where they're like really sentient. I don't know. It's good. Yeah. It's themed.
It's just sort of
vintage trade art. It looks nice.
Humans are gone and animals have taken over.
It's a deck building game. That's what it is. So basically, though, but it's an interesting deck building game, and I'd love to see this happen more. Where you basically you're gonna have 4 cards, and you will put them flat on the table next to each other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and in those cards, there's going to be stuff either in the middle of the card or on either side. And so what you're trying to do is you can then arrange them in any way you want. And so you're trying to make, essentially, because on the edge of the card will be like an open box. But if you put that next to another open box,
you get to do the combo.
That's a complete box, and you get to do that thing.
Ooh.
So there are 3 rows on each card. So the top row is going to be it's always all resources. So there's 3 resources: there's flowers, fruit, grains, and then energy. This is the stuff that these primates are eating and stuff like that. And then the next 2 rows are going to be conversions. So it'll be like you can turn in a fruit and a flower for a point, or you can turn in 2 grains for a point, or you can do all these different conversions, or you can turn in 2 fruit for an energy. But the thing is, on one side of the card is the 2 fruit. On the other side of the card is going to be whatever you're getting. So if it's not always 2 fruit to an energy. If you put this card here, it might be 2 fruit to 3 points. So you have to then arrange them, and it's really cool. And I was like, this is a cool way to do deck building.
Then fascinating.
So once you have confirmed this is the order I'm going to put it in, then you'll go top to bottom, left to right. So you'll go across the top row, bottom row, and you can skip stuff. If you come across something you don't want to convert or something, you can just be like, I'm not going to do that. And so then you get all the stuff, convert all the stuff, and then after that, once everyone's done that, then you get to buy new cards. So you have a hand of basic cards, the Tamarin cards, and then there's mandrills, orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees.
Orangutans, let's
go. All right, baby. And they all kind of specialize. The mandrills specialize more in points. Orangutans are more in energy. Gorillas are more in rage. Because essentially, if you ever get 4 rage, you then can get rid of a card. So it's the way to clear out your deck and stuff. I assume they just murdered the other monkey.
If we know anything about primate culture and stuff, they do go to war.
They do. And so it's probably pretty accurate. we're evolved, from a similar ancestor. So it's like, yeah, we're kind of similar.
Culling cards never really has much of a thematic impact. But here
This
you're
one
like,
kind of
oh
does.
God.
Yeah. So basically, you can buy new cards. So basically, each mandrill, grill, all this stuff, they have level 1 and level 2 cards. Level 1s are always 3. So like the mandrill's 3 flowers, you can buy level 1 mandrill. 6 flowers, you can buy level 2.
Oh.
And then they're essentially going to be better versions. One thing that's also nice is when you get a card, it goes on top of your deck. So it's going to come through. And so you're doing that, and it's a race to 80 points. Basically, once someone hits 80 points, you're going to finish that round, and that's the end of the game.
Man, that sounds awesome.
And then there's also these 3, I think they're called objects, but they're essentially like,
hit us up.
they're essentially like technology cards, and that's mostly what you use energy for. So there's one where it's like you can spend 6 energy to just get a level 1 card, or 9 energy to get a level 2 card. And there's like 7 of those, you only ever play with 3. So those are always different too. I really, really liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. I really thought the way you arranged the cards was a really interesting way to do deck building.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I was talking to Nate, who I was playing with, it's kind of like Sierra West in a way where you're trying to arrange things to then do the paths. It's not the same exactly, but I was like, oh, this is an interesting way to do deck building. And you kind of specialize in stuff. It's really, really cool. I really, really liked After Us a lot. And if I found it somewhere for not super expensive, I would pick it up. I liked it a lot. That was cool.
I doubt it'd be that much. That sounds
I think
really
it's like $35 on miniature markets like that. Yeah, it's cool. I really liked the deck building. I thought it was awesome. Highly clundable on
Ryan comes out Clund Terra Mystica, did not go well.
Don't clund.
Yeah, a game like that, like
not clundable.
Because you have to be so strategic with where you place and start.
Yeah, not clundable. This game, halfway through, we knew the entire game.
Clunding, the clundableness of is the most board gamer thing I have ever seen. I am happy y'all are happy doing it. It sounds insane to me.
Oh, to do it regularly?
For
for
fun
sure.
and to spreadsheet it, I'm almost like, man, we are a certain type of people, I tell you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it in a game like Boo. We played I almost said Christmas, the Halloween. Hopefully Christmas is coming soon.
Come on, I want
holiday.
it.
Give me a winter
around
boot.
ornaments, and you have to get ornaments in a line.
Oh my gosh. Michael, you're making $1 billion right now. It's $1 billion idea.
We
played
hats.
the Halloween version of Boop, which is now called Boo.
One of them's coming out of a stocking.
It is mostly the same game. This is an abstract.
Almost entirely.
Yeah.
And in fact, you can play this just like Boop. Like,
yes.
You don't have to do the new element.
Indeed. We will have a playthrough of this come out sometime in October.
Yeah.
We'll probably
you picked up a copy of this at
I picked Gen Con. Yeah, I picked up at Gen Con.
Because I was like, get that if it's around.
So Boop is an abstract strategy game. We're trying to get 3 cats in a line, yeah?
Trying to get 3 cats in a line, and the whole thing is that when you start off with kittens only. As you place a kitten, if there's any other kittens, yours or your opponent's adjacent in any of the 8 spaces adjacent, they boop or jump 1 space away. And so you are trying to, you can't just like put 3 kittens of yours in a row because you'll boop your own kittens out of the way. So you have to try to do things where you boop your kittens into a line, which allows them to graduate into cats. The cool thing is the kitten will not boop a cat because they're not scared of a kitten. And if you get 3 of your cats in a row, you win. So the Boop, the Halloween edition, has the theming of Halloween on it. So they have witchy cats and pumpkin cats. Adorable.
They're really cute.
They have an addition of each player has a ghost cat. Now this ghost cat can be placed at the end of your turn, and they don't go onto spaces, they go into the seams between spaces because they are not physically present. And then they're just kind of an automated piece that goes. So after the end of all subsequent turns, they will take 1 space and they just go across the bed. In between spaces, and if they ever go in between a cat or kittens or cats or whatever, anything, they will boop 1 space away. And the cool thing is you can normally back something up. So if you have a piece here and a piece here, that piece can't get booped because it would run into that. But if there's a ghost, it'll boo, it'll actually jump over, like cats like jump from the cucumber. So it's just like adds like a little bit of an element of more things moving around. Gives it that theming. But
programming.
And a little bit of programming because it just kind of goes dark.
Because you're like, I'm going to put this here because next turn Mike's ghost cat's going to
here.
So that'll then boot me here and then maybe... You
can kind of pre-plan a little bit.
You kind of,
because you know where the ghost cat's going. They just go across the bed and off.
Yeah, so...
It was a really cool ad. And I just love the theming of this. And again, if you don't want to deal with that, it's a small ad. You don't have to play your ghost cat, so you can even just ignore it if you wanted.
True.
But you can also just leave those ghosts out, and then it's boop the rest of the way with Halloween theming. So fantastic, absolutely love.
Yeah, it's so good. Great. Boop is great. I love the addition of
Give me the Christmas one. So bad.
I do love the addition of the ghost. I think it's interesting, but again, Boop is great. And then I
it's
love
so hard though.
Any holiday theme version of any game I love. So more of that, please. So yeah, Boop was great.
Yeah.
We played Chicken.
Chicken. This is a tiny little press your luck game.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. There's from Keymaster, like when they had the campaign for it, there's like an expansion stuff that I hear adds a lot to the game.
Oh, really?
But it's a super simple push your luck, very casual
Trying
game.
to get chickens, you don't want foxes.
Trying to get chickens, you don't want foxes. So what you're going to do is on your turn, however many dice are in the dice pool, and this will be augmented from players before you and stuff, you have to roll all those dice. Any chickens you get, you set aside. They show a little chicken face. You set aside. Any foxes you get, you set aside. If you ever get 3 foxes, you're dead. Bust. And then some dice that are not chickens or foxes might show eggs. If you have eggs, you'll grab more chicken dice from the game board that are more valuable but also have more foxes. So they're more boom and bust. After that first roll, you have a chance to do 1 reroll if you like, or you can just take your count chickens,
get your points
as they hatch, or whatever. And then you kind of pass it on. You can chicken out if there's like a bunch of dice in there and you're like, man, I'm going to bust out. Because obviously the more dice you have, the more chance you have to roll that 3 foxes right away. But if you chicken out, you'll lose a point and stuff. So it's just fun. It's silly. It's super light and casual, very quick. You can play up to 8 players. So this is a great,
it comes
pop it in your game bag. Comes in a little tube.
It's like a poster tube. It's like this. It's cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of a great, bring it to your game night because if nothing else, you have a couple minutes in between games. Just play a quick game of chicken. It's a very nice production and stuff. This is just, I got this at Target, so it's kind of the more base version.
It's still nice.
But it's awesome, and I do want to look to Keymaster to maybe find that little expansion.
Yeah, if it adds a little more.
expansion or something, it adds a couple more decision points, because there's not a ton to decide.
No.
But it also is
it's pure push your luck.
6 minutes long. So I enjoyed it.
It's pure push your luck. But yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Nice pure push your luck to play with kids and stuff.
We played Dice Manor.
We did a stream for Arcane Wonders.
Yes, indeed. This was it's a dice allocation game, ultimately, where you're going to roll out dice, and then you basically are be bidding with these dice.
Yeah.
You're getting different parts of a manor. You get like a library, and you get like a bedroom and stuff like that, and you're basically, there's going to be 6 different kinds of rooms out, and you bid. So whenever you roll, you're going to separate your dice into groups, like all your 2s, all your 3s, all your 4s, and then you'll choose one of your groups, and you have to place all of those dice. So if you choose your 3s, you have to place all of your 3s. And you can split them up, but you have to place all of them. And then the next turn that comes around, you're going to roll all your dice. So it's not like you roll them once. You're just rolling that one time. You choose a group, and then you'll end up rolling again. And so you can bid on these different tiles. These
you can
tiles
add to previous bids if you have another 5 later, for example.
And it basically, the bids are basically usually amount of dice. So if Mike has like 2 5s out there, and then I put 3 3s, I'm then going to outbid Mike. His is going to get pushed down.
Right.
And then you can also get like inspiration, which you can modify your dice rolls, re-roll some stuff. And you're basically bidding to get these different tiles. Or you can put it on advertising. And advertising is going to essentially get you points. It's also going to get you 2 more of your dice.
Yeah.
2 more of your bonus dice.
Massive.
Or you can do a tour of your manor, because you're building this big fancy mansion. Because each of these room tiles that you're winning are going to have different values in them. And so you then can put the same dice value in your manor to do a tour of it.
Yeah.
But again, whenever you're doing a tour, you are placing all of one number, because you always have to choose a group of numbers. So you're choosing all your 3s. So you want to, when you're building out your manor, you want to have like 3, 3, 3, 3. So then hopefully you can roll a bunch of 3s and then go bop, 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 bop. Because the longer tour you do, the more points you're going to get. And so you're building it out. And I thought it was actually really fun. It was cool. We played with some new 2-player rules, which are really nice too.
Yeah, so it gives you like a third person that's just kind of doing
stuff up.
And they did bid and stuff. It messed with our life a decent amount. Messed with my life a lot.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this one. It is really casual, just really kind of easy and smooth. Like the bidding is interesting. I like that you have to use all of a group of dice to go out to a thing, and what do you focus on? And you can get these, I think, are inspirations. It's called. It's basically ways to re-roll dice or change the value, so you can have a bit of mitigation. Thank goodness,
which is nice.
And the thing that's kind of cool is it gives you a lot of things. Like there's types of rooms. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most of the types of rooms can get points. And there's colors of rooms. And if you have the most of a certain color, there's kind of a lot of little things to think about. But it stays very kind of easy and casual. There's nothing it's not
complicated.
not brain burning.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but,
no,
but
not
like
at all.
there is fun stuff to think about, and then there's
Yeah.
kind of the spatial element about building your manor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It
know
was
like
cool.
how much legs this would have. I don't know how many times I need
I
to play
think
it.
after-
but like it was an enjoyable play.
I think it will need an expansion at some point, but I think you
Yeah,
could
which would be
pretty
really cool.
easily expand it. I do
do a
think
haunted
after a while,
house
but
expansion.
I like it.
Oh, man.
I like it up to, what does this play to? I think 4.
I think it's like a 1 to 4 or 2 to 4
maybe, yeah. I think it's 4. But nonetheless, yeah, I thought it was cool. And yeah, the bidding was cool. The way you built stuff out was cool. There was more to it than it kind of seemed at first.
Yeah, and I like that you're
was
kind of
good.
constantly re-rolling your dice
Yes.
and sort of hoping that
So you're not
some
stuck like, oh,
fours.
this sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's like you can just
Yeah.
you get reroll every
Every
single time.
turn you re-roll, so you'll
Yeah, it was
re-roll
cool.
several times. Yeah.
We played everything ever.
Everything
I had
ever.
played this before, but you hadn't played this before. We played this at the end of a stream.
We did. This is a party game, and it's just a again
Naming stuff game.
naming stuff game. So you'll
Name
have
football teams. Name
every
doctors.
football team, every Star Wars character, every princess we had come up. Like
Yeah.
And so the cool thing is, a lot of the categories are really broad.
Yes.
And so like princess is really cool because it's like, well, Princess Diana, but also Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Princess Buttercup. Like you can go whatever way. and
Princess Buttercup.
But if you can make the argument for it, and there's kind of the thing where people say like, I don't know, man, you're stretching.
Yeah, you
it,
can-
like,
you can
watch
challenge
it,
each
or you
other.
can straight challenge each other. It's just a super fun thing, and you'll have like 2 things out there, so you have to name one from each category. And
Every
of course, you can't
candy,
name something,
every country in Africa.
and you can't name something
Like
that's come
Skittles
up
in
before.
Botswana. And you can't repeat something you said.
Yeah. And you're kind of just trying to stay in the game as long as you want. This is a perfect like casual party game of like, who cares who wins?
Yes.
Just like play it.
Yeah.
And
And you can swap. If you can't name, so like you're like, I can't name
just
any more
change out the
candies.
category.
You can change up the categories. So
Yeah.
you have 3 cards in your hand. Those are technically like your life. If you run out of cards, score points if you want to. It's just fun. It was great at the end of the stream just to be like, oh, okay, cool, this and this. And it's a really fun game. I played it in a big group at Gen Con. It was really fun that way. We kind of just played it casually together. It was really fun. I like it. I like these kinds of casual naming games. I think it's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely solid because it's just fun. I enjoy like these types of games. I enjoy when they're like, I don't actually care who wins.
No. We're gonna
it's
do
just
this
fun
until
to play anyway. Until we're bored.
Until
of it.
we feel like stopping.
And there's a fat stack of cards.
Yeah,
So like
there's
there's
a
a
ton.
ton of categories.
Yeah,
Which is really cool.
So it was cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
We played Ezra Nehemiah. Oops, sorry, I just let it go too far.
We had a playthrough come out for it yesterday.
Sorry, let it go too far. Okay,
Now. This is
did?
the new one. We had our playthrough come out for it yesterday.
Yeah, so I guess you're getting a review very soon after that. What do you think, Mike?
Bro.
Did Garfield Games do it
Garfield
again,
Games. Okay, Garfield Games, who we love.
Mike? Yes.
And of course, we wouldn't say this in the sponsor video, but this video ain't sponsored. This game's amazing. We love Garfield Games. Garfield Games as a publisher. I don't know. I don't know of a
better
publisher
one?
that's firing on all cylinders harder than Garfield Games, specifically making games that are right in our wheelhouse. Like Shem, Phillips, and Sam have a similar taste in games to us, and they make games that are just like seemingly made directly for us.
Yeah, it's true.
This has been referenced as like a greatest hits of Garfield, where there's different elements from different Garfield games, but there's a lot from kind of like Viscounts of the West Kingdom, I'll say the most.
Yeah,
And
kinda,
it's
yeah.
really stinking fun, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because it's not like complicated in terms of like how a turn
No.
works,
Well-
how an action works, but there is so much to chew on in terms of like the decision space of like
I will
what to
say
focus
this
on
for
and all
it.
that.
Is when they were kind of talking about it, because Garfield always does kind of like a state of the publisher address.
I
Kind
love
of,
it. Yeah, every year
they
they
kind of
kinda
talk
talk
about
about-
everything that's coming out that
Yeah.
year, all that kind of stuff. They mentioned that this is like probably their heaviest game. I actually disagree with that.
Yeah?
I do not find Ezra Nehemiah to be that heavy. Don't get me wrong; it's not like a gateway game. But I don't think, at least, or maybe just like to me, it feels very intuitive and things work very well. I personally don't think this is as heavy as like Paladins or Viscounts.
Oh, really?
Personally, not really. I
would put it up there.
Oh, really?
but-
See, I maybe it's just I find this one. I think it's pretty easy to teach or just easy to understand, so
Sure,
it doesn't feel as
sure.
heavy. But yeah, it's really good. So yeah, your Israeli exiles coming back to Jerusalem to build the city. And it's really cool. So you're like build the walls around the city, trying to build those back
Walls
up,
and
those kind of
gates,
stuff.
yep.
You can work in the temple or the altar, and it's all based around these different colored banners, gray, blue, or red. And it's kind of like Viscounts, as Mike said, is you're going to put a card down into your board, which has 3 slots on it, and then you're like, I'm going to do the red banners, and then you'll count up all the red banners there, including ones from other cards.
Yep.
But in this case, you're going to be covering cards up instead of Viscounts where you're kind of pushing them off. And so you kind of are putting these, I'm going to put this one, it's weird because you have to kind of program your stuff in a certain way where you're like, okay, I'm going to play 6 cards to 3 spots. So I'm going to have to cover up each of the 3 cards I put down in the beginning. So it's like, you can't keep a card there the entire round. It will have to get covered up. So you're kind of like, okay, the first half of this round, I'm going to do a bunch of red stuff. And then I'm going to transfer over into blue stuff about halfway through as those red cards get covered up. And it's really, really fun. I thought it was outstanding. I mean, who knows where in Garfield's thing it lands. People are already going to ask us immediately.
Already asking. We'll try to answer that at the end.
We'll try and answer at the end.
I do think this is amongst the heaviest. I think I would give it to Paladins because Paladins has the kind of like the stress of
to me, this feels like Architects. And maybe I'm super wrong about it.
The way you were just explaining is like, well, I can halfway through, I can switch to these colors. Like, that is major level brain stuff,
but maybe I'm a genius.
I think you are, but I'm saying, like, that's major level stuff.
I guess. I'm probably being skewed because we play a lot of these kinds of games.
I think this is a game that you can get into and underway easily enough. And I do think the entry point into starting to play and understanding how a turn works is pretty freaking
for a Garfield game,
low for a Garfield game for what you're getting. But in terms of the strategy and the ways you can manipulate and twist things up in this game, I think is incredibly high.
Maybe, yeah.
I'd put it right up there with Paladins.
Oh, see, I so disagree.
Yeah.
So disagree. I think this is a personal thing for me. Maybe this is just me, and for some reason, this one just makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
I would put it, in terms of heaviness, for me, again, don't take my word for that, I would say it's above Architects, but below Paladins, Viscounts, Wayfarers, and Scholars.
Heard it here, folks.
That's how I feel about it.
I like it.
And by the way, I really like it. I think it's outstanding. And so,
Tyler, yes,
really,
I do believe
good.
Scholars, which is definitely up there. And what I heard in that last State of the Union is that Inventors of the South Tigers will be their heaviest game they've made.
Yeah, Scholars is definitely heavier.
I doubt it's like leagues above the rest of them, though. I'd say it's probably going to be in the wheelhouse of what you expect from a heavy game from them.
But it's cool. It's in their 8th Anthology series, which is like Hadrian's Wall, Legacy of You, this one. And again, we're not religious. I really think the theme is cool.
It's not a religious game.
No, it's not.
It's just set in, I mean, other than they're teaching the Torah, but there's no...
but a lot of games you're like teaching whatever religious book.
There's
so
not,
it's like whatever.
Exactly. There's no like biblical like elements coming up.
It's not preachy or anything like that. Yeah. So really, really Garfield destroys. They just destroy. I can't wait for Inventors or anything else they come out with because they just absolutely destroy. Ezra's very good. Played Flock Together.
Man. We'll never not be able to do that. I hope we've ruined everyone.
Once we've made that joke, it's over.
Now.
Yeah, so this is a co-op chicken defending game.
Yeah, we did a playthrough this last month. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we're moving away from bees other than apiary, which I'm very excited for now. Into chickens. So Flock Together is a cooperative game where you are fending off the predators. You kind of see it around the edge of the cover there with some awesome Andrew Bosley art. The art is awesome.
It's very big.
And you are each a different character that starts off as a chick. So you basically have one ability, a little bit of health. You're not very strong on the attack front, but you'll have the chance to level up to level 2 and level 3 into a full-grown rooster or hen, where you have 3 abilities now and stuff. This one I enjoyed. The first time we played it,
we had a bad game.
We made our life way harder on ourselves because the way you level up is you basically get to a threshold of 5 or whatever it is on that character of food that you've eaten. And then you level up. And what we did when we did that, we reset our food down to 0. And now you have to get to 7 or 11, which is way hard. And it's just actually 5, and then from 5 to 7 or whatever it is, then to 11. So it's actually easier to level up. And that made the game a lot more doable.
It did.
We got crushed the first time.
The first game we played, we rolled really bad.
That's one thing I'll give for this. There are dice rolling elements, and the dice will be favorable or not favorable to you, and for the most part, you're just going to go along for whatever it does to you.
It's a really cool concept. I really like all the stuff. If you've seen our playthrough, it's like all the stuff comes in little chicken books. They're really, really cool. All the enemies come in like their own little books. The production is really, really cool. The game is cool. I do feel like sometimes, and they're still working on stuff, so I hope things get balanced a little bit. There were times where I felt it was way too hard. And it can kind of depend because you have these weather cards, and almost all the weather cards are bad. There's like one good one per season. I would love to see more good weather cards and let the people choose how brutal they want the game to be.
Sure.
Because there are some weather cards that are like hard.
Well,
And they just
this one in that first play that we did as well, where it was
just
like
miss your
fog
whole
or
attack.
something, and if you roll, you just miss your whole attack, no matter what.
Including you have to use the food you used to do that attack, which means you're now out of food.
And Nick missed like 3 attacks in a row, wiped out all his food, and we're like, we have no.
I was like, cool. I'm now set back like 4 turns because of that. And so like I would like to be able to choose that. Also, some of the predators are just harder than other predators. And so it's like, if you just like random Majando them, you might have a really hard game. So I would like to see a little bit more balance in that and let the people choose. Other than that, I really liked the game. I thought it was cool concept. The production was cool. The art obviously is beautiful. I would love to see a little bit more balance or a little bit more choice for us to say how, because my thing is if you're playing with like, say, kids who maybe you want to have a little bit of an easier game for, you kind of don't really have that much of an option unless you just take out the weather. And so, which you could do. So I really liked it. I would like to see them make it a little bit easier, at least have the option to make it a little bit easier, because it felt a little too brutal sometimes.
Yeah, this is a game that like I'm curious to see them hopefully massage it a little more, because the things I liked I enjoyed, but there's a lot of things I was kind of like, that's not my favorite. So I think they can keep working it though, you know.
Someone said if I had time traveled here from exactly a year ago, I would have thought I was looking at Jason Statham and Nathan Lane.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
take that. Are you Jason Statham?
So, I'm Jason Statham, right? I'll take Nathan Lane.
If I was a young warthog.
Nathan Lane's a legend. I'll take that.
Nathan Lane rocks.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, Flock Together was good. I did enjoy it, and I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I played Haplomachus Victorium.
Victorium, you did.
Played a bunch of Haplomachus Victorium because
did you continue on your?
I am continuing on in my campaign of it. I think it's going to end up being my favorite solo game. I really like it a lot.
Can we say that this might be a second year in a row, or last year for the Fire and Ice Awards you chose Burn Cycle? Has Victorium got a shot?
No, it's not my favorite game of the year, for sure. It's not that. It's really fun. So this is, I just did a playthrough of this, a solo playthrough. It's a solo-only game. It's humongous. So you can go watch that for more, if you want more in-depth look at Haplomachus Victorium.
Check it out.
Nonetheless, this is a big solo game where you are going to be in various arenas doing various events. Sometimes the events are like bloodshed events where it's your team versus their team. And you're just trying to wipe each other out. But there's also like different sporting events like Capture the Flag or King of the Hill or like a spar. And basically it takes place over 4 acts. It's a campaign game. But the campaign isn't like years long, but it'll be multiple sessions. And basically at the end of each act, you're going to be fighting a Primus, which is going to be like a hero, a big champion. At the end of the 4th act, you're going to fight one of Pluto's scions, which is going to be some big old monster. And then if you win that fight, you win the game. And so throughout this game, you're like upgrading your skills. You're getting new troops, new units into your troop. You might lose those units if they die in like a bloodshed event. So you're having to constantly get more. And so Crook wants me to say Haplomachus Victorium again. And I really, really like it. The main thing I really like about it is and granted, I seem to be in the minority in this too, is I really, really like the fact that the events are not all the same. You basically have those bloodshed events, which again are just kill the other team. But then you have Capture the Flag, where you have to go over and capture this flag chip and bring
real quick, Crook wants to know what's the name?
Sorry, Haplomachus Victorium.
There you go.
And then King of the Hill, you have to occupy these different spaces. And a lot of people really, really don't like the sporting events.
I think
they're
it's
like,
so neat.
They're so worthless. I'm just never going to do them. And to me, I'm like, don't get me wrong. If that's all there was, I wouldn't want that. I still probably prefer to do a bloodshed event a lot of times because the stakes are higher. But to me, when I was reading the rulebook, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great because it breaks up the game. It's not always the same. And it's like, sure, like King of the Hill, a lot of times you're like standing on a hex and you're kind of just like getting hit and trying to like not die. But to me, I'm like, that's only one event. Like to me, it's like, I don't want to do that every single time or even the majority of the time.
I mean, if you play through a campaign, it takes like, say 16 hours to do.
Yeah, I want some stuff to break it up.
Don't you want a little bit of something?
Yeah, like to me, the reason why I like this game as much as I do is because of those different events. Because they're more interesting. And then on top of that, every single event is going to have some kind of special rules to it. So like this one is like, I don't know, all range characters have +1 range. So you're like, okay,
well,
so
then
maybe
the arena you're in has rules to it.
And then on top of that, the arena you're in has different rules.
Super cool to me.
And the arena really changes up the game because, again, they really change up the way you have to play each arena. And then on top of that, like in the playthrough, I also had there's these opportunity cards, which are essentially goals that you can go for, and you'll get good rewards if you do them.
Oh, like an objective in the round.
Kind of, yeah. And it basically said like one I had in my playthrough was basically like for your next sporting event, which is again like Capture the Flag or King of the Hill, be a pacifist. Don't knock out anybody. And so it was interesting because I was playing King of the Hill and I was playing pacifist, so I just had to stand there and just get hit over and over and over again, but I couldn't ever hit back. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Again, I wouldn't want to do that every single time, but all of those things mixed together, like what arena you're in, what event you're doing, the special rules of that specific event, maybe you have an opportunity card that switches stuff up, means cool, they're always so different that I really, really enjoy it. I don't know. I seem to be very much in the minority about those sporting cards. Chip Theory, I love them. Don't listen to anyone else. Listen to me only. Yes, it's good. As far as I know, there's not a fight in the volcano, but you do have to go to Vesuvius, which is like a lava area, to fight the Scion. Cool. I really, really like it. I'm playing. I like it so much that it's on my kitchen table permanently, and I'm just playing through a campaign.
That's awesome.
I really, really enjoy it. I think it's super fun. I also think for a Chip Theory game, which tend to be very, very complicated, I think needlessly complicated a lot of times, I think it's the easiest one to get into. Cool. I honestly do.
I really want to play it. David out here coming in from Scotland. Hello to everybody in chat who's been popping up and saying hi. Appreciate it.
Let us know where you're coming from.
Keep it going and stuff, but we love hearing from y'all and where you're hailing from. Ohio. And I love people also saying hi to each other in chat.
Luxembourg.
We are all for it. Just pre-order 20 strong from Chip Theory Games. Can't wait to get it. I am going to be doing a solo play for that. That's going to be coming out in a week or two.
I think 2 weeks, 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so we want to give a little time in between Victorium and that playthrough. But yeah, I'm going to do the kind of the basest, most set. We do have Hoplomachus, Victorium, and
2 bones.
Too many bones, which you can use for 20 strong. But I'll probably just show off the one that's in the main pack. So
it's fun. I like it.
Yeah. Played Jerusalem, Anno Domini.
Another Devere game and another religious theme.
Yes, this one is much more. This is you're going to the Last Supper and sending people to the Last Supper.
You are going to the Last Supper.
Yeah, so this one, you are followers of Jesus, and you are you want to be present at the Last Supper. You want to be in attendance at the Last Supper. So you are ultimately trying to get your workers, which you're putting out. Oh, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate
that. I love all the things saying hiya.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate
that. Thank you so much, man. That's wonderful. You're trying to get your own people into different seats. I mean, there's just seating around the main table, which will have Jesus in the middle, and then
various
apostles, which will be getting brought to the Last Supper throughout the game. So you don't know where they're going to be quite sat. And you're trying to get into the audience as well. And basically, whatever kind of row you're in, whatever apostles in front of you, or of course, if Jesus is in front of you, you will get a certain amount of points based on how far forward you are in the audience. You want to be in the front row. Unless Judas is in front of you, you want to be in the back row because you don't want to be in that row at all because that'll lose you points. But you are kind of cycling through, gaining resources, gaining workers to your active pool to then be able to send to the Last Supper, as well as playing cards in a certain order to be able to activate one of the apostles and bring them over to the Last Supper, which will give you a kind of a boon when you do that, and also kind of manipulates where apostles are sat because certain ones are more valuable than others, and you want to have your people lined up. So there's a lot of kind of spatial elements with the puzzliness, which is actually really enjoyable.
Yeah.
For me, the game kind of like, this happens sometimes in games where you get to the like 70% mark, and you're kind of like, I'm good. Like, I've done the things. The actions are pretty straightforward and simple, and you still have like 20 or 30% of the game to go, and you're kind of like rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat. And so I think for both of us, I feel like is what you were saying as well. For me, at least, I'll speak for myself. It kind of like ran out of steam. The game ran out of steam where I was kind of like, okay, I did all the stuff. Now I just need to get to the end, and we're sort of just getting there. And but most of the interesting, juicy decisions had already played out for me. There are a bunch of like spaces when you place your workers into your followers, I should say, into the area at the Last Supper. It triggers bonuses and stuff. So there are fun things going on, but it's just one that like 2/3 of the way through, I was kind of like, okay, like I'm good, and had more game to play. So by the end of it, it wasn't bad by any means, but I was just kind of like, I don't know how many times I need to return to this game.
We played it 2-player, to be fair. And there are different rules of 2-player. I will say I did not like this game. I did not think it was very fun. I totally agree with you. 70% of the way, I'm like, cool, I've seen everything I need to see.
And then you kind of have
And
to
on top
keep
of that,
playing.
I also feel like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like after one play, I'm like, cool, I've seen the entire game. Like, I don't
agree
know
with that.
how
I don't
much
think there's
difference
much
there
more
is.
to explore.
Now, granted, I think the game is going to be better at 3 and 4. There's a lot of things that kind of have to change for a 2-player game.
Yeah, I don't think it's ideal at 2. I don't think it's ideal.
And so, like, I really want to give this one another shot at 3 or 4 player, but as of right now, I really didn't like it. After we played it, I was kind of like, okay, wow, I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
And then as I ruminated on it more over the next like week or two, I was like, no, I really didn't like it. I did not enjoy it.
The thing that's interesting is that 2-player, you're literally on a different side of the board, and there are major elements of the game that are
don't
left
exist.
out.
Yeah, because you
there's this
can't
whole
do
thing
them.
about like giving favors to people and stuff, and you kind of like working together in a way, and you can't do that in the 2-player game. So there's like a whole track that you go up on the other side, and stuff. Like there's major elements that are not present. It's one of these things where I'm like,
this isn't a 2-player game.
yes, I'm like, this is not a 2-player game.
Yeah, probably.
Of course, because we're trying to sell, as many copies as possible, we found a way to make it 2-player, and it is playable.
It works.
2-player. It is
It works.
playable, but it's like it's clearly not the game. It's not the game they made, and that's a shame.
Yeah, and again,
So I
really want to try it
3,
again.
but I don't think it's.
I still don't think I'm going to love it.
we've
I'm
seen
not
it.
going to lie.
We've seen it.
I don't think I'm going to love it. I do want to try it again, but I don't think I'm going to love it. And I did not like it at 2. I did not think it was.
Tracy, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's hey, it's what it is. I mean, that's 2 DeVere games now that we've both. You were kind of like on 3 Ring Circus. I was we're both kind of on this. So hey,
3-Ring Circus, I think, has a better shot to be more highly regarded.
Yeah.
Just didn't love the solo.
a lot of solo stuff this week because I was gone for half the month, and so.
So I played the first scenario in the campaign of Wrath of the Lighthouse, which is a solo campaign for Empires of the North. It was cool. So what you do with the campaign is you choose one faction and you take that faction all the way through.
Oh, really?
Yes, and so that was kind of cool, and I think we chose the kind of the drunken Vikings, like the classic drunken Viking as our representatives. And in the main game of Empires of the North, they give you a few solo scenarios as well. And it is always a scenario where you'll have kind of an extra phase in the game where you roll a die and events are happening. And you have a specific goal of like a point threshold you need to meet. You have like 3 or 4 rounds to do. It's very kind of, you got to get up and running fast. And then also like some additional things that you have to accomplish. So I had these things where like a big part of this one is like there's these, I don't know, like ruins tokens going on to stuff, and you have to kind of get those cleared out and things like that. And so it gives you a couple extra challenges. Then as you play through and stuff, you'll get more cards and things kind of slowly as you go. And you kind of always progress forward in the campaign. Unless you lose 3 games in a row, then you'll like lose and have to restart. But you kind of progress forward. But if you don't succeed, you're not gonna get the rewards, and it's gonna be a little harder for you maybe next time, or you just won't have as many boons and stuff.
Okay.
So it's interesting. Portal makes such horrible rule books.
They do not make good rule books. That's true.
Empires of the North in general, the rulebook is just so brief. It's just like very sparse, and I appreciate that because you can't get up and running. But there's so many, like in this specific scenario with this card, and they have no information.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. So there's like more of that where there's like certain elements that are from the campaign. I'm like, well, how does this specifically work?
No idea.
No information whatsoever. And I'm like, thank you for doing the bare minimum. I know that English isn't your first language.
Yeah.
I understand that, but there are translators in the world. And Portal's rulebooks just continue to be horrible.
Yeah, they do have a reputation for having
we have later
bad
this week the Imperial Miners game coming, and I'm like, can't wait to see what the book looks like.
I hope it's good. Yeah,
It's mopey.
I'm excited for this because I love Empires of the North.
It didn't change my enjoyment of playing because I really liked it, but it's that thing where I'm always like,
a bad
"Ugh,"
rule book
like,
can ruin a game. Yeah.
What do we think, guys? Like maybe this, And I'm like, "Hey."
Yeah. So that's I do want to play it, but yeah, that's and
Yeah,
again,
but I still love Empires of the North, so that was cool.
you played Mechanisms.
Mechanisms. This is a game made by
Funkhauser.
Derek Funkhauser and another, and this is a very inside
baseball.
baseball.
It's a point salad kind of thing.
If you're deep into board games, this is a party game for you, and it is only for those people. This is a basically charades type game where the thing that you are trying to convey, you're going to be using game pieces like a meeple or like one of those like stars that looks like an objective star from Stonemaier games or cubes, things like that. You're trying to create little scenes and stuff and explain game mechanisms. So your prompts will be like dice drafting or worker placement or point-to-point movement, all sorts of stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's just very made by gamers for gamers. It's unapologetically so. But I played with Jared, who was in chat here, and April Lynn, and like we were the audience that is like good for this kind of game.
Yeah.
And so
Don't put it in Target because they're like, what?
No,
what do you mean?
That'd be a horrible mistake. But it's not meant for that and stuff. And it was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was a fun thing for like 10 minutes and stuff.
I love
we were
inside
trying to
baseball.
explain game mechanisms, using game pieces. It was just very, very meta.
Yeah, I love that. I love
cool,
weird
man.
inside baseball like that. I think it's fun.
I was like, that's cool.
That's cool. Lovely. You want to play with my island? I'm very jealous.
Yeah.
We're literally going to get a second copy so Mike and I can play it.
We should get it. 'Cause I'm not going to play for another like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Man.
You shaved your beard.
So we played the first chapter, the first 3 episodes of My Island.
Trash?
So bad. So trash. So good. This now uses hexagonal.
Hexominos?
Yeah, but they're not just dominoes. There's different shapes and stuff that it comes in. And similar to My City, you will be flipping over a card that's going to show one specific tile, and everyone has to grab that tile and add it to their board. Now, where you place it and stuff is up to you. There's some rules about you have to build adjacent to other things. You have to have, because there's different on the tiles themselves, there might be, if it's a 3 tile, there could be up to 3 different types of faces on it, essentially. So different symbols and stuff. Because there's like houses and pathways and stuff like that. So you have to match at least one of them. So there is a kind of domino thing of like you have to have at least one of the hexes has to match at least one of the things that it's touching. So house to house, for example, right? And you're building out, and at the start, you only have so much of the island that you can place on because you're coming and exploring and stuff.
Right.
And you're starting off on the beach because that's where you've landed. And the first little, I'll spoil this much. It doesn't matter. Basically, you want to put houses on the beach.
Okay.
And like that's your main goal for points and stuff. And you want to get as much beach covered as possible. Then of course you'll start to uncover.
Switch it up.
I mean, we only did the first chapter, so who knows? There's I'm sure a ton of stuff that'll get discovered.
The
in
aliens
time.
are coming.
Yeah, probably. But it's so fun to like with episode to episode. This little rule changes now. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Oh, now I can do this thing. Oh, that's neat. And then of course more game elements will come. Stickers will get put onto your island and everything. It is so fun. We loved My City so much. I've played through the campaign twice. You can play the whole campaign on Board Game Arena. I highly recommend you do.
Yeah.
My Island so far to me, from
better.
the play is really excellent. From what I hear from people who have played it, it is better than My City. So my excitement is still way up there, and so far so great.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
so
super
good.
excited. I loved My City. I thought My City was one of the best bang for your buck games.
What's up, well? Yeah, I had to get rid of the beard briefly, but it's growing back. You can see it.
Back. Mike's doing this for a play, by the way.
growing back.
We didn't actually mention it. We played One Page War. We did a playthrough of this. This is a print and play thing that was on Kickstarter, and they do these kinds of print and plays often. And yeah, this is kind of like an Air, Land, and Sea-ish kind of game where you're each going to be on either side of this piece of paper. We have the exact same, the art's different, we have the exact same stuff, and you're basically these different theaters of war.
Yep.
And you're rolling a die, right?
Yep, you roll a die, which will be a number that, so say I was the active player and I have the die. I'll put a 2 if that's what got
and then
rolled.
I have to then put that 2 in a different theater.
So if I chose like the C, Nick has to choose any of the other 4 that he can, that you have space for.
And you're basically fighting for these different theaters. And so at the end, you can see the different theaters have different boxes in them. And those are spots for numbers.
Yep.
And certain things will be better. So if you have like a pair, a 3 of a kind will beat that. A straight will beat this. A 3 and then a 2, a full house kind of thing will beat that. And so it's kind of like those kinds of rules. And so you're basically trying to put things in the boxes to make these combos kind of things to then win that theater. But then again, if you fill out that theater before the other person does, or rather once you have it filled out, you then get to use that theater's ability, which could be like swapping numbers around, changing things.
All sorts of mitigation.
So you're also trying to race to finish these ones so that you can do this because each theater can only be used a certain amount of time. So if I use like the green theater here 3 times before Mike can even use it at all, it's done.
Yeah, it can get used 3 times total, not per player.
Yes.
Total. So
and it's really, really fun. I actually really like it. It's a great little, again, like print and play, we laminated it, and then you just kind of sit there and you just kind of like Air, Land, and Sea, you just kind of go back and forth and you're just fighting for these things. I think it's really fun.
It's made by the same people who did like Villagers, Streets, Moon recently, which is just getting out to folks. And so Tyler Lentz says that the game needs 600 more backers for a space version. They've already unlocked like a medieval version.
Cool.
Which is super cool, and it does have like different abilities and things. And I don't know, Tyler,
I love print and
recall,
plays.
I mean, is it like $5-8. Like
Yeah.
it's very cheap because it's just a print and play.
It's a print and play.
But we laminated it. It looks great and stuff.
Yeah, it's got good
I was
little
like,
art.
This is super cool. I've been more into backing these print and plays.
Yeah.
I backed another one from Postmark Games.
Yeah.
They've done a few things. I've really enjoyed those, and they're always like $5.
Yeah, because it doesn't
Like,
cost
get
the
those
publisher
things.
anything,
Yeah,
really.
support those kind of those smaller campaigns and stuff because they're doing really interesting stuff. And yeah, I'm happy to back and support any of those types of things. So Con, thank you for sponsoring a playthrough of that because I was like, man, One Page World was actually really cool, and you can get tricky with it. And
Yeah.
Nick just
You can
blew me out of the water. Spoilers.
Set out
but-
€5. Yeah, so it's like $5-8. It's like great. I love print and plays. I think they're super
$5-8,
cool.
one sheet of paper, a laminate, a marker, and a die will be the things you have to provide. But I know you have those things in your house already.
You do.
So.
Mikey played Spirit Island, and we've played it before, but it's on the new list because it's been a very long time.
A very long time. I've played it a decent amount. I played it solo a few times, IRL, and then I was doing a stream and was just having connectivity issues with the camera, and so I ended up getting the Steam version, which is really great because it basically makes sure you're playing right. And I've played it 4 or 5 more times solo. I've tried 2 spirits once and stopped after like 3 turns and said, I cannot do this. I can't. It's too much to think about.
That's fair.
But I've been really enjoying playing around with a couple different spirits, trying to figure out how they work. Spirit Island is such a good game. It is such a good game. We absolutely have to play it because it won't be.
I want to. Well, I think Ezra Nehemiah is a gateway game, so I can handle
You're
this.
going to be good to go.
I can handle
Yeah,
this.
but it's so cool, man. It's so cool. The barrier to entry won't be quite so high anymore just because of the weight of games we play typically. So fun.
Yeah.
So fun. Banishing those invaders from afar. How good.
Indeed.
Love to see
We
it.
played Sweet Mess Pastry Competition. So this is a game that was on Kickstarter by a publisher, and that publisher fell on hard times, basically wasn't going to be able to deliver. And then Fantasia Games came in, acquired the game, and then now are delivering it out to people.
So one of the designers and stuff is now with Fantasia, and they kind of breathed new life into this game.
So we
really
did a playthrough of this that was sponsored by Fantasia, and we played it, and I actually really like it. It kind of Mike brought this up before we even played it when we had read the rulebook, and he's like, I feel like this is going to be a chai killer.
See Chai back there? Chai killer. I said it.
Because of the fact that like Chai has a very, granted, I want to say the games don't play that similarly, but it's like Chai has a very specific role in our game collection, which is like a lighter kind of gateway-ish level game that is like produced to the stars and really pretty. It's a really good way to get people into the hobby. Like, hey, here's a really cool theme like tea, and look at the cool production of this. It can really enamor people to board games. So like, having kind of like an overproduced gateway game, I do think has a very good spot in your collection because it's useful. This one kind of takes a cake because I just like this game. I think Chai is fine, but I don't love Chai. I really like this game. This is a game where you're essentially building kind of sweet concoctions.
Yeah. Doing recipes.
Yeah, and you're doing it by getting these, you're basically making a mess in the kitchen, all your different ingredients are kind of going everywhere, and you're grabbing stuff off there. And I really, really liked the game. I thought there was some good like puzzle elements of trying to figure out the way to kind of go about doing this. The production obviously is very, very good. They have like nice chips to it.
Yeah.
So this is that great, like, hey, this is like Gateway Plus probably level game that's pretty, got a cool theme, and is like produced to the stars to really get people to like just fall into that hobby.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hits a sweet spot. It's definitely more game than Chai, which for us, again, Chai, the only thing I can give it as a knock is like, it's super light. It's really, really light. Sweet Mess gives you a little more of that puzzliness. There's a couple rules when you grab ingredients about where things can go on your player board. Fantasia lent us a copy of the deluxe version before we had to pass it on, so we got to play with the nicest.
Yes.
Man,
which
was nice.
It was nice.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
So agreed. Just a great mix of like awesome art, fantastic components, fun gameplay, and a theme that's just really rad. Like people are super into GBBO. New season is out. Episode 1. Let's get after it. Get your brackets in, like we have done to see who's going to win.
Oh my God, you have brackets?
Oh yeah, we do predictions every year about who's going to win GBBO. We watched the first episode. And then based on that one episode, we like, this person's going to win. Of course, we have no idea. It's very fun. And it's a feel-good story to boot because this game, for a long time, looked like it was never going to see the light of day.
A lot of people were like, I did not think this game was ever going to come out.
I think it's super cool that they picked the ball up and are making sure that it gets seen through. Very cool.
It's cool, though. Definitely cool.
Like new art, too.
I got to play Tigris and Euphrates.
Look at you dipping into the ancient way. Ooh, this game is from the olden times. Probably
like 97. It's an older game at that point. I mean, it's almost 30 years old.
Dude, I was wearing moon boots when this game came out. I was doing skip it and playing Pogs.
I was playing this on BGA, never played it before, and so I was like, oh, I've always wanted to play Tiger because it's a classic.
It's pre-internet, man. How is it on the internet? It came out before.
Exactly.
It came out when it's set. This is a picture from when it came out.
This guy looks like Hammurabi, kind of. You know?
Yeah.
Is it Hammurabi? I honestly don't know.
Probably.
Is that where
so
Babylon
it's a
was?
Thailand game,
Where's
right?
Babylon? I don't know. Yeah,
ultimately, right?
Kind of. So it's a kind of an area control game where you have essentially different kinds of units. There's like green, blue, red, and I think black.
Okay.
And you're putting them out onto the board, and you're basically trying to do like area control stuff where basically you're trying to essentially build up your armies and your stuff, because if you ever connect like two groups of people and stuff like that, you then are gonna have to like fight. And so it's really weird to explain, honestly. And when I was being explained it at BG, I was like, I don't really understand what's happening, but we'll go.
It'd be great.
Exactly. So the person I was playing with, they knew the game, luckily. Yeah. And so basically how it happens a lot of ways, it's like, so if I have a bunch of green stuff over here, right? And you have a bunch of green stuff over here, if those two kingdoms meet, we will then fight in like green or whatever. So basically, you'll see how many green things you have and how many green things I have, and whoever has the most wins that fight, and the other person gets booted out. So the thing is, and so you're doing it, it's a lot of like manipulating stuff because you want to like build up and then eventually go over here and connect so that you can boot them out and get points, stuff like that. It's really weird and hard to explain, but it was really cool. It was really, really cool. We're playing it 2 players, which I don't think is like necessarily the best, but it was really, really interesting. It's cool. Themeless and stuff, and I really want to play it again. Would love to play it in real life. Yeah,
I have the app of this in Yellow and Yangtze and Ziv. Yeah, so there's this, then that inspired Yellow and Yangtze, which is basically the same thing but with hexagonal domino pieces.
Yeah.
And then there's a new one, Huang, coming out, Huang, which I think is kind of like a more produced, I'd say it's probably more based on Yellow and Yangtze than this. But it's all this game. All those games are this game. So
they're all basically the same.
but that's going to be kind of a nicer version.
Makes me want to play it again. It makes me want to play like Yellow and Yangtze and Huang and stuff. And so we'll see. But yeah, it was cool. Probably didn't explain it very well, but I was confused the whole time. So it worked out.
Diana, I'm with you. I probably like Batman better than Superman, but Superman's pretty cool too.
Superman's fine.
Got the Superman mug. It's just the biggest mug I have. It holds the most coffee, and so it is my go-to mug for that reason.
That is accurate.
I need a big mug. I can't do a small cup of coffee.
We played a little bit of Vagrant Song.
We did, and we're even, as the time of this streaming this tonight. We're going to do a different scenario. So Vagrant Song has a campaign for 2 different expansions.
Yeah.
And we played, and we'll continue on tonight with the Encore expansion for Vagrant Song. But on the campaign, there are 2 different expansions you can back.
Yeah.
This is cool because we never had a chance to play Vagrant Song when it first came out.
Yeah.
The base game. But we love the art style, love the kind of idea of like you're fighting these ghosts and bringing them back to their humanity. So you're trying to do stuff to restore humanity in the ghosts, and they are of course trying to strip it away from you.
Yeah.
Because they're
like
broken people.
You know,
it's a game about like how we all need therapy.
It's humans, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And you are
doing like
running around on this
scenarios.
haunted train doing different, basically boss battle. It's a boss battler.
More or less.
Some people say like, oh, it's Cuphead. It's like, well, artistically, it looks like Cuphead. And it kind of is, where you have different bosses, different abilities and stuff. They're going to be pulling out these action tokens from a little bindle, because you're all like, it's like hobo chic, hobo aesthetics.
Yeah.
And there's the hobo code that you follow and everything like that. Yeah. As we are vagrants. And they're going to be doing different actions and stuff, so there'll be different challenges based on who you're facing and different scenario effects and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
you're kind of going around doing investigations to kind of, pull out the story that's happening. There's story elements and things going on. It's kind of this big campaign game. I really enjoyed it. We played not great.
We played horribly. Well, the thing is, one thing about this game,
right through the people give some strategic tips about like don't just stand around the haint. We're like, we're gonna stand around the haint.
Definitely did. Definitely did. The game is fun, and I like the scenario play. One thing that does is like you again, kind of like Flock together. It's like you are rolling dice.
Oh, it's a dice.
So
fest,
sometimes in our playthrough, we had horrible dice rolls. Yeah. We had one of the things that we were trying to get required us to roll booming box cards, which are 6s. Whenever you roll 6s, you essentially get to grab another die and roll another. You can kind of explode your dice that way.
You'd think, based on that we'd get to. It seems like a major part of the game. I think how many 6s do you think we rolled the entire scenario?
I think we rolled 2.
I think we rolled 2, exactly 2.
Not to mention, the character I was playing,
6s.
Every character has like specific skill cards and a specific ability. My ability is based around booming box cards, and we rolled 2 in the entire game. So there is some with that. Just know that like there's dice rolls. Sometimes the dice rolls are going to go your way. Sometimes they're super not. In our case, they're almost never going to go our way. But like the scenario play, the fact that all the scenarios are different is super cool. I love the look of it. The production's cool. I like these kind of scenario-based games. We don't get to play them very often, but I always think they're really, really cool.
Yeah, but yeah, with these types of games, and I think it's just like how it is. Like you just have to be down for the fact that there is good luck and bad luck. What it is. You're just not going to be able to do a lot with it. You know, it's like it's going to be what it is. You have to ride it. You have to ride that wave.
Hedge your bets because to do these skills, you can essentially put a certain amount of your action tokens on them, which a lot of times will give you a better chance.
More dice or reduces the amount that you need to roll to succeed.
Does more damage, that kind of stuff. And so I do like that. You can kind of choose. Now sometimes you might just roll horribly, like, well, that didn't do anything. Yeah. But that's just any kind of bad.
I just wanted to roll more booming box cards. I was so bummed. I'm like literally 2 6s.
You better roll more. Yeah, but it's a cool thing.
It's so exciting. You grab more and more dice.
Oh yeah, exploding. What's that when we used to play? The others has exploding dice. Yeah. How often do you roll exploding dice, Mike? Never. Didn't make a difference. Didn't make a difference. And so just know that. But yeah, I enjoy the concept. I enjoy the theme. It's just super cool looking. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Just saw a video about people crying not being able to get Shakespeare. I'm like, y'all been told by the bros.
Years.
Yeah. It's way out of print, unfortunately. But
I think it's going to come back not because of us, but because of us and others who like the game and have talked about it for years. I think it's going to come back at some point.
I think there would be an audience. I think it's a game that still holds up today. I think it would do just fine
as long as the expansion came in the main box.
That would need to happen.
It would need to happen.
But the art, everything there. White Castle.
Game of the year so far.
So DeVere. So far, we've talked about 2 games from DeVere where I'm like, possible game of the year right here.
It's front runner for us, for both of us, I think.
Front runner right now.
Yeah.
Front runner for game of the year. It's so good. It's so incredibly good.
It's insanely good.
Golly, it is. This game does the thing that we really love so much.
Yep.
Combos.
Yep.
I either want to be combos or bumping some tracks, baby. If you give me a game of both, we're good. So this one is all about chaining together combos on your turn because you only have 9 turns in the game. And you can choose one of the action stuff. You're drafting a die, and you can place that die into various areas to get 1 or more actions depending on where you're placing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes into is the fun of the game comes into. It's like, I'm going to put this die here. This die in this room of the castle has 2 actions for if you place a black die. I place a black die, I get to 2 actions in whatever order I want. This first one's going to give me some resources. I'm going to turn in those resources, do this 1 action. To place a warrior out, I do the warrior. If I put in this 1 area, oh my gosh, it gives me a bonus area of being able to do the gardener action. Awesome, I'm going to go over here and do a gardener action. Now I've taken like 3 turns for my 1 turn.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do in this game. You have to find your way to get as many basically actions as you can out of those. You have 9 guaranteed turns.
Yeah.
How many more can you get?
What can you do?
And that is how you win the game. And we love those kinds of games because you get to feel clever. There will be 1 turn at least in the game that you do something that is insane.
Yeah.
Where you're like, how are you doing all this?
Yeah.
Because you've lined it all up and you just get to trigger thing after thing after thing after thing. It is so
good.
Highly satisfying. Even if you lose, you're like, man, I got to give me my cigarette. I got all that.
Yeah, right. This is kind of a theme right now. Not the theme, but like of
Don't smoke, kids.
Combo heavy Euros are like kind of a thing right now. My other front runner for game of the year, it's between this and other. We'll talk about it. Also has combo kind of heavy. It's combo heavy Euro game. But this game also, because like 2 players, it's like 45 minutes. You can watch our playthrough. It's super quick. Like we played it and we played it on stream and we were kind of like, do we have enough time to play it again? Because we would run it back right now. It's so good. It's probably my favorite game of the year so far. It's just the combos are so satisfying, so cool. I love games where you're just trying to extend your turn. How much can I do? How much can I do? Can I do this? Oh, sweet. Now I can do this, and that's going to give me the resource now to do this. It's just like it's so much fun,
satisfying, and so quick. It
Yeah,
does so much in such a little amount of time. It's physically not the largest game ever, so that feels nice. The box isn't huge. The game isn't huge, but the gameplay is massive.
Yes.
And I'm like, we publishers, hear us now.
Please.
We need more of that. Quit making your game so gosh dang big and get bigger gameplay. Oh, White Castle's a flex, and that's why it's the front runner right now. I'm like, all those elements have to be considered. And I'm like, show me someone doing more with less, but nothing is cut corners. Everything is super the high point. They hit it so hard. And I like the cover too. Was it Dio say or someone saying that Diana was saying I hate snow. Snow's, whatever, but I like it that it's showing a different season, because usually I think there'd be like, blooming flowers and stuff. It's kind of cool.
I think it's great. Yeah, it's good.
Such a vibe.
So good.
Such a flex.
We played Walkstar 3rd edition.
Yeah, we're not good. I don't like it. We played this.
3 editions though.
This is an early Fowers game. Pre-Burgle Bros and paperback and all that stuff. And it's a cooperative game, real-time game where you are making recipes. You're running a restaurant. You're a failing restaurant, basically. And you have like 4 days where you have to get to a certain money threshold every day to sort of survive and not go into bankruptcy. I like the theme. Each player will have like one or more recipes that they can make. So they have to actually be the one to carry out the recipe. But all of us can contribute and cook certain ingredients that a recipe will use. So we had like wonton soup. It's going to need some broth. It's going to need the wonton wrappers and chicken or whatever it might be. And so we need to kind of be placing out dice, ultimately rolling dice and then allocating dice to cook stuff and all that. It's all in real time. And you need to get this, whatever order comes up, the wonton soup. And then once you get that done, you can flip over a new sand timer, and you have to basically keep sand in the timer. It's kind of like kites almost.
Okay.
It's just, there's too much, like, it's really hard. It's super duper hard for one. And we played on like the easier modes. It's too hard to track the timers and stuff and make sure that's going. And there's just like too many like unclarities. And then like, there's this whole thing of, I start off with 3 dice. And if I get 4 or 5, say, of my orders made specifically in that round, I get to get new dice to add to my pool. But like, you have no control over if your recipes come out at all. And so after the first round, I think none of us got another die. And the next round, you have to make more money than you made before. And you literally run into a problem of like, there are not enough dice for us to use to make stuff to possibly get that much money by selling recipes. And so it's just too hard. It's just too hard. Did not enjoy it. Happy to never play it again.
Interesting. Okay. Wow.
Did not like it.
We had a couple games that we weren't big fans of this one.
Nope.
All right. I believe that's the last of the old ones. That's the last of the new games, rather. Now we're going through the old ones. Go through a little quicker. I played Black Sonata a bunch on the plane.
Heath, good to hear about Three Ring Circus. Stoked.
Indeed. Again, by the way, after we get through our games, we're going to do a Q&A, so pop some questions in chat.
Please do.
If you want to. So I played Black Sonata. This is a game where you are trying to find the mysterious... the serious inspiration for Shakespeare's dark sonnets. And you're basically...
This mysterious lady.
Indeed, this mysterious lady. And you are going around London. It's a hidden movement game. The mysterious woman is moving around through a sequence of cards. And
she has kind of like a programmed path that she's on.
Yes, it's a pre-programmed path. And you can set up the program in a whole bunch of different ways. And she's basically going to be moving around the town. You're basically trying to get her to move to wherever you are. Because on your turn, you can either move or you can try to confront this mysterious woman. To say like, who are you?
Tell me your secrets.
Tell me your secrets. And then basically... if she comes to you or you think she's where you are, because a lot of times it's like, oh, she's either here or here. I'm going to go for it because why not? And then if it turns out she is there, you will get to learn some information. It's a hidden movement deduction game. It's a solo game though. And so you get to learn some information. You see like the flash of a wedding ring. So you're like, oh, okay, so she's married. Okay.
And that'll kind of whittle down who the possible people are.
She's carrying a tuba. So you're like, oh, she's musical. She's a musician, you know? She's doing the drum line. Like when the straps only go to here with the big hat. She's like, you're like, oh, okay, so she's a musician. So you learn these things about them, and then eventually you will be able to deduce who she is. It's super fun. Again, it's a little small game. Originally it was a print and play, talking about print and plays, and they made like a full game out of it. And yeah, it's really, really fun. I really like it. It's one of my favorite solo games. I love to bring it when I travel because I just played it on the plane. It was awesome. So yeah, Black Sonata, still a banger.
And I believe it's getting more wide distribution soon.
I believe so,
I think it's getting out from under a really horrible person, which is great.
Yes, indeed. You played Caverna?
I did. I played it on BGA.
I didn't even know it was on BGA.
Oh yeah, baby. Played a couple games of Caverna.
Is it good on BGA?
Yeah, works really well.
I can see if you can go to BGA.
Yeah, works really well. I am so
I love Caverna.
mediocre at this game. I'm
Oh,
so
at the game, yeah.
frankly bad at it.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I really enjoy it. I played a game with 2 other buddies, and then Jared and I just re-upped and played a 2-player game of it, in which I did better, but still lost by so many points. But it's a really fun game where you have like this limited pool of workers, and you are trying to put them out, and you're building out now a cave half, and so it's very Agricola, right? But now you have the whole kind of farm half, but you have this whole cave system that you have to build out as well. And you can build out and then furnish those parts of your cave with different buildings, which are going to open up your main hit of endgame points.
Right.
But you can also put animals into fields and pastures on your kind of forest side of your board. So there's just a lot of fun stuff to explore. It's really cool. This is a game that finally, like, one thing I never do enough of is get more workers because I'm so worried about feeding them. But you need more workers because you are so severely limited. You only have 2 to start. You are so severely limited if you don't get more workers. And I got 3. I think my buddy Jared got like 5, and he crushed me because he's doing so many 40% more game every round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so vitally important. So it's just really fun to munch on and really think of like, what buildings do I want to get to maximize my scoring based on what I'm doing. It's fun.
And there's so many different buildings that you can play a totally different game. This, I think, if we played, especially with the expansion, if we played this game more, I think this would be. Feast Bron's my favorite Uwe game. I think this would be a very close second.
Right now, it's my
if we just played it
behind
more.
Fields of Arl and then Feast Road, of course, and Heads and Tails above.
We just don't.
But
play
I agree.
Very much.
I think this could be number 2 or right.
I think
up
every
there.
time we're always like, it's going to be so much, and it's really not that bad. It's a bit of a setup.
The setup is.
I'll give it that. It's a bit of a setup. But no, I didn't play Caverna.
It's great.
I freaking love Caverna.
It's great. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I love it.
This is the other front runner for Game of the Year for me.
Yes, sir.
It's between this and White Castle. This is also a big combo heavy Euro game. This is Darwin's Journey, where Darwin's dead. You killed him and you're trying to hide. And you're hiding inside a tortoise.
It's a murder mystery.
You're inside a shell like it's like Ace Ventura when he's inside the rhino.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
God, it's a great scene.
Not traumatizing at all. Your proteges working alongside Darwin, doing discoveries and stuff. This game is so amazing.
It's so stinking good. So this is a game where it's a worker placement game, and you're placing out a worker, and then it's cool because your workers will grow stronger throughout the game because you're getting these wax seals.
Yep.
And you can get like red seals and blue seals and yellow. And then different of the actions require a certain amount of seals. So do like the boat action requires like a blue seal. But if you want to do like the better of the boat actions, it requires like 3 blue seals or something like that.
So you kind of specialize your workers almost, or you get purple, which are wilds.
But the cool thing about this game is super combo-y. Because if you're doing like the boat one, you go around and you might be able to go and up here and then put a campsite down, which is another action. But that campsite might then allow you to do the explorer action. And then you move your little explorer, and that allows you to do, like, say, another campsite. And then that allows you to discover a new area. It's just like you get to do
I feel like
all these combos.
Yeah, I feel like when we played it, there was a point where each of us were like, is it still your turn? And you're just like, oh yeah, no, I've got all this stuff to do still. And I'm like, what? How? Very kind of the White Castle with us. I mean, those combos are...
It's super good. And so then on top of that, there is the other side of the game board is an expansion called the Fireside expansion. And pretty much everyone says, once you go to that side, you will never, ever go back. And we've only played this game a couple times, and we've only played like the normal base game. And I'm so excited to go to the other side because everyone's like, it makes it so much better. And it's still like number 1 or number 2 for me for the year.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gone to like the cool side.
I do think we need to play that before the end of the year to get a true sense.
Yes, we do.
We
really do.
And the one thing that you kind of were a little frustrated with after our last play was there's all these different actions and stuff. But there's these wax seals. There's an action to get the wax seals, and you must get them. Mm-hmm. That is what the game is. The game is about getting your workers built up and strengthened and specialized.
Yes.
And
I don't think there's a way to be like, I'm just not going to do any wax seals.
No.
I don't think you can do
you won't make
anything.
it very far.
Yeah.
You have to, because all the actions are required, have certain seal
Yes.
requirements and stuff. And so you were a little frustrated by that part. And I
Yes.
think that's fair. And I think it's, for me, it's sort of like the Lost Ruins of Arnak thing, where people think of like, well, the game's over here. It's like, no, the game is that research track on the side. That is the game.
Yes.
Like, you have to get up that. That is what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit similar like that, where like you're not going to get far with wax seals. You want to do all the rest of this game? Okay, you still have to go to the wax seal spots, but those are still worker placement spots that are limited and stuff. So I think you're fine. But what we hear is on the other side of the board, there's basically different currencies where you can spend time as well to do stuff. So it gives you more ways to do things, and I think that's going to solve that problem a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan in chat said, so far it's my favorite game of 2023, and said it's the best
of the Fireland
expansion. Yeah, so super excited. I love Darwin's Journey. I love the look of it. It's
so
super
good,
cool. It's so much fun, and
we have so much
and
more
there's
game to
all these
explore.
little like mini modules too to throw. It's like I'm so excited to explore this.
So much
farther.
variability on the game board with like certain actions that are out from game to game. It's awesome already. Again, we haven't haven't really played the full game. That's the way I look at it.
Not really. Yeah.
We haven't really played the full game yet.
I'm just. You played King of 12.
Played King of 12. Showed it to some friends on a
King of
game
12.
night and stuff. It's such a good game.
It's so
man.
good.
It's that kind of the game where everyone has the same cards and stuff. So it's the mind games. Like, when are you going to play that card? I think you're going to play it now. And you're trying to ultimately, for the most part, have the highest value from turn to turn. Starting with a D12 roll. Say I have an 11. That's my value. But you have all these cards that can manipulate that value. And you typically want to have the highest value. But most importantly, you don't want to match anyone on anything. If you both play the same card at the same time, canceled. If you have the same value, canceled. If at the end of the round you have the same amount of points, canceled. So you want to be unique.
Yeah.
And I just love games like that where it's like, okay, the Libertalia thing of like, you're going to play your Catherine right now, so I'm going to play this to undercut that. But it does all that in like 15, 20 minutes. It's a very quick game.
Yeah.
So I
think
love
this
how
is
fast it
so
goes, and you get to get that little gum in your head now, and the kind of trying to predict and jump the gun on stuff is really fun. So I like
I think
King of 12 a lot.
is outstanding.
Yeah, and besides, there's like Queen of 12 out or coming, and I'm like, well, what's that going to be? So excited for more.
Gonna get it. Love it.
Yeah.
Super good. I played a bunch of Numbsters. Again, another little solo game. A
jealous.
solo.
You won it yet?
I did. I won a game. I've never won a game before. It's so hard. So Numbsters is shouts out to Jamie from Foster Meeple who picked this game up for this.
Thank you,
Button
Jamie.
Shy game.
Appreciate it.
So it's a little 18 card game, and you play like I usually play it in airports or on planes, and you just play it in the palm of your hand basically. And basically what it is you have numbers, and all these numbers are little monsters called Numbsters. And basically there's the number 8, which is the big mouth, and this 8 is eating stuff. It's honestly, I really feel like they knew the joke of 7, 8, 8, 9.
Oh, that was absolutely.
And they made a
where
game
started.
out of it?
Yes, that's 100%
And so
where they
basically-
began.
Every turn, you need to make sure there are sequential numbers on either side of the 8. So like 4, 5, or like 16, 15. They need to be sequential numbers on either side of the 8, and then the lower number is going to eat the bigger number. The number 8 is going to eat the bigger number.
Yep.
Basically, you will win the game if you have, at the end of the game, 2 cards left. You have 1 card and then the 8 on the back. But the 8 has to be on the back. At any point in the game, at the end of a turn, if the 8 is in the front of the deck, you just lose. So you're constantly trying to manipulate your hand, because every turn you draw a card, put it in there, and then you have to then move stuff around. And so on top of that, every single card has a special eating ability.
Yep.
Which will basically be like, for this turn, a even number can eat a bigger even number, but they don't have to be sequential. It could be like 2 could eat like a 16.
They still are based on what's around the 8 and stuff, but it
Yes.
gives you different ways to eat.
And so you're doing that, and then whenever you use one of those cards, it then goes to the back of the hand, and every turn you also get to move. You can either swap 2 cards or move a card. So you're not just stuck. You can move stuff around, and it's super tough. It's really, really hard, especially like you get to the point where there's no more cards to draw, and so you're just stuck with whatever's in your hand, and you're trying to make it work, trying to manipulate it to the point where you end up with 1 card and then the 8, and it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I won a game, damn it. It was great. I was so happy.
Jealous.
I was freaking. I had like 102 fever, just sitting in my hotel room freaking out playing Numbsters, and I
Seeing
won.
the
It was
Matrix.
great. Yeah.
Wizzy Kid says the one dude I'm bad with names. I'm Mike.
That's Mike.
Is throwing me out without the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is me. I promise. I had to shave it because we did
us double
promo
back,
photos for a play I'm doing. So I'm gonna grow it back for 3 weeks. or 4 weeks, and then shave it again.
Yep.
So you'll see this again, but you might be used to a clean shaven me by then.
That's the point, yeah.
Patchwork
You played
is
some Patchwork?
it. I did. I played this. I played this online. I think I played this on Board Game Arena, didn't I?
Probably.
Yeah, I've been playing games with just random folks on BJ. Invite me. I'm the one that's at Brothers Murph. Nick is under Nick, but I'm the Brothers Murph. So if you ever played the Brothers
took that
Murph,
one. I couldn't get
people
it.
generally don't know you are playing against me.
Yeah, you'll never play against me.
You'll
On
be,
BJ
you'll be
in general.
beating me in the game because I won't be winning. Play Patchwork, man. It's great.
It's great.
It's such a good game.
It's great.
I didn't manage my time well. I just didn't manage my time well. And I was like, oh, the game's going to end like
Meow.
now.
Yeah.
I was going so hard for the 7x7 patch, which I got, but I just had so
else,
many
yeah.
empty spaces.
Patchwork, you build a Patchwork quilt, 2 players. It's cutthroat. It's incredible. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh, that's right. Patchwork's incredible.
Amazing. It's all time. It's
Yeah.
all time classic. All time classic.
Played some Seasalt Paper, I'm assuming, on BG. Although now we have
No,
it.
I played this one IRL.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So I played some Sea Salt and Paper.
I still never played a full game of this.
We should do it.
Yeah.
We should. It's ultimately a set collection game. It's really simple. You are on a turn drawing 2 cards from the deck and then keeping one and discarding one, or taking one. There's 2 discard piles. You can take one of the cards on top of the discard pile. You only get the one. And then you have like all these actions. Like it's straight set collection. The octopuses, the more you get of them, the better.
Yeah.
But there's all these types of cards that if you get a pair of them, crabs, for example, you get to play them face down. They collectively be worth 1 point, but you get to do a special action. So you're trying to get those little action cards out and stuff. And then there's this kind of whole thing about like, you can see some points on that people have because they're on the table, but you don't know what's in their hand necessarily. And if you get to 7 points or above, you can choose to end the round, but you can kind of end it saying like, let's just end it right now while I'll counter straight up points.
Yeah.
Or you can kind of go to shoot the moon and like, I bet I have more points than anybody else. I'm going to give people 1 more turn each. And then after that, if I still have the most points, I get kind of this better version of the thing. But if you fail, you get very little, and everyone else gets a lot. So it's just fun. Obviously, it's great art. Another quick little card game.
Yeah.
You know, I say like this is this year's Scout, right? Like every year, there's going to be some probably little card game that's going to be like, yeah, people really like it.
Yeah.
And it'll probably hold us over until next year's little card game comes out.
Totally.
And that's what this is. But the art, man, is just redonk fire.
It's origami, and it's so cool.
There's an expansion coming, I think, from Pandasaurus. So I'm like curious what that's going to be. But Bruno Catala, alongside the other designer, great job.
Said, wait, should I accept this friend request from Mike Murphy's Beard? No, that's a scam.
Yeah,
don't do that one.
They will
take all of your money.
They're
So
gonna
don't do that
scan your
one.
computer. So just don't do that.
We actually both played Sky Team this month. It's incredible.
It's good.
Sky Team is so good.
We gotta play the other scenarios.
I know.
We've only played the base most scenario.
Yeah, I played this on BGA. It's very good on BGA.
But they have it on BGA.
Yeah, it's in beta right now. They just added it. It's fun. It's good. Wow. Yeah, so I played on BGA. This is a game where it's a 2-player only game, cooperative game, where one person's the
It's a
pilot.
perfect game for BGA.
One person's the co-pilot. Yeah, it works really well. Especially because, you can't talk during it. So, one person's the pilot, one person's the co-pilot. You're both going to roll out dice, and you have to assign the dice, and you basically are going to have to fly this. You have to land this plane.
Yeah.
So you have to approach the airport at the right speed. You have to be flat. You can't be like tilted.
Yeah.
You can't come in too fast because then your brakes won't work. All your flaps need to be open. All your landing gears need to be
all
down.
the preparations for landing have to be in
done.
place. Yeah.
But the cool thing is the going into Montreal, which is the first airport, is very it's basically just the base game. But then each
It's a
airport
tutorial.
you go to that you're going into, because you switch them out, the rules are going to change. Because if you're going through to Detroit, there's ice on the runway, and then there's going to be different rules that change. And we haven't even gotten into that. I really like just the base game. It's still
but there's so many scenarios.
fun
to
communication
add
where you're
stuff.
like, we're gonna die right now because we're about to flip over.
Yeah,
it's
really
so
good,
fun.
man.
And then now there's all these different airports that change up the rules, and I am so excited to try more of them. I think Sky Team's a freaking masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool, and we have not even gotten into, again, similar to Darwin's Jury, we haven't played the full version of the game. We played the baby mode. I really want to play more. For sure.
Super good.
For sure.
You played Sorcerer's City.
I did, for the first time in a very long time. Because we
time.
got rid of our copy because we just don't have much occasion to play it. It was and is still just too big, too much stuff everywhere for what it is, which is kind of like a speed tile laying game. Carcassonne with a timer. But it's a fun game, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. So I played a 3-player game of it. And in this one, you're placing out, you can set how much time you have depending on how hard you want the game to be. I think we did 2 minutes. And you have to place out all your tiles and stuff, and you can match colors. There's basically 4 colors. There's green, purple, red, and yellow. And there'll be these shields, which give you like scoring conditions. So now if I have this one type of shield, all of my yellows that are in a connected group will give me money to buy more tiles that round. Or certain ones have to be in a straight line and stuff, but you have the basically 4 types of currencies. And you can buy more tiles. Monsters come out, which mess with your stuff from round to round to round, and you kind of want to just maximize on all your things. I won. It was dope. Nice. It was fun. This game, just the things that I was frustrated with are still frustrating.
Yeah.
There's like all these monsters and stuff, but there's one reference card that's because the game has too much production value. It's gonna be a mile away, and when we draw a dragon, everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell does the dragon do again? Can I see that?" And you're in the middle of a timed round, and in a 3-player game that was much more manageable because it's just a quieter, more chill experience. But you can play this up to like 5 or 6 even.
I think it's 6.
And the time before that I played was at AirCon, where it's loud and stuff. There's 6 players, and I'm like, no one knows what's happening. No. And it's just too much. I wish they had pared this down, but it is a fun game at its core. I enjoy the whole like putting out your city as fast as you can and trying to maximize under the pressure of time. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice because it had been a break, but I'm like, I played it. I was just like, yeah, I'm glad that we got rid of it.
Here's the thing, like,
we don't need it.
If we're at a convention or a game day and someone wants to play it, I will play it. Absolutely. I do not need to own it because it's, like I said, everything Mike said is true. Yeah,
that's all it was. It was just like, I don't regret getting rid of it, but it wasn't a bad time.
We played Woodcraft. It was a wonderful, wonderful game. We love Vladimir Suki. Ross Arnold was the original designer. Vladimir Suki came in and helped out.
Put some Sukiness on it.
This is a game where you are weird wood people making wood stuff.
Yeah.
You're like wood crafters. And
maybe made of wood. It's hard to tell.
It's confusing.
The art is
strange. But nonetheless, this is a game where you are action selection game in kind of this big action wheel, the great saw, and that's going to determine what kind of action you do. And then you're going to have dice. You have green die, yellow die, and brown die, which are different kinds of wood. Kind of like, and you're fulfilling contracts. The contract will be like, you need you need a 3 and 1 green die, a 5 yellow, and a 4 brown.
That'd be a very big order.
That's a big order. And then you need those exact things. You need a 3 green. You cannot play with a 5 green. So you have tools like saws where you could literally take a 6 green die, saw it in half, and get a 4 and a 2, or like a 5 and a 1. And I love that. That's such a cool, interesting way of doing dice manipulation where you can actually take, so often dice manipulation is always like you can add +1 or -1 or change a die face. In this one, it's like you get to cut them, you get 2 dice, which is really useful because an order might be like, you need 2 green 3s. Get a green 6, chop it down the middle. Now you got 2 green 3s, and you're good to go.
Perfect. So cool.
This game is so much fun. Every time we play it, I'm like, man, Vladimir Suki is just a wizard to me.
Yeah, and shouts out to Ross Arnold for,
the original design,
Ross Arnold's design, right? With Vladimir's help. And the biggest shouts out to making a game that thematically explains simple dice mitigation.
Yes.
It's so fun. I love that it's not, you need a 3 or higher. It's like you need the specific die value because you're making something, like when you cut wood, you have to be correct.
And you can increase a die value by putting scrap wood onto it.
It's all thematically tied in so well. Yes. It's one of the better thematic heroes out there.
It's so good.
It's so fun. It's so fun. You get little blueberries and stuff as your currency. There's so much to do, so little time. So you're just trying to find ways to maximize. I think we both played really good games.
We did. I think we both played the best games we've ever played before.
Such a fun game.
So I like the Rondell more in Woodcraft, but I think overall I enjoy Praga a little more. Both great games. I can't wait for Evacuation.
I'm probably with you on that. Praga is king.
I think this one is taking Praga for me, but Praga is.
But I agree with you. The selection of the thing, I think there's more bonuses. There was bonuses in Praga as well.
No, the selection's better.
The selection here is so cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. That is it, y'all. So we'll do a Q&A as we always do in the end of this. So make sure to drop some questions.
We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for hanging out. And that didn't do as much as I thought it would.
That line.
I thought we were going to be in pitch black if I got the light blasting in her eye right there.
I'll go through and see if there's any questions we didn't get a chance.
RB says, Brother Murph, 1 killed and replaced Brother Murph 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Thought we would notice. Clever. I'm simply an actor that's been hired.
Well, you're a scab because you can't do union work right now. So
is this a union job?
Yeah,
dang it. I broke rank. Sorry, guys.
Tyler said, speaking of DeVere, have you guys played Luna Capital from them? A person in my game group gave it to me to learn the game for them.
But
have
we've
not
heard a lot about it. At Gen Con, gosh, it was 2019, I guess, before the end of the world. was mentioning. I think it was Ruel said. Like,
I think it was
so
Ruel who
good
liked
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to try it, but
have not tried it. Want to. How goes the reskin of Le Havre from last live conversation before you reskin Boop? We have not started to reskin Le Havre. We're going to try and do a reskin of Le Havre, a personal, just for us, our own copy, called Le Haunt. Hopefully by Halloween next year.
Yeah, that's gonna be. We're literally gonna aim for next October, so we can actually do it, make a video on it.
By the way,
stand by.
Just for legal purposes, right now, this will not be for sale. No. You will not be able to get it.
We have.
It
actually,
will be for us.
Just a little bit of a peek into the Brothers Murph without giving any specifics. We have several of these ideas for videos.
We have too many of these ideas.
I know. We just need to choose one and start on it, which is a problem that we do. But we have a lot of these ideas and stuff, but all of them will be simply for fun and not for sale, so we don't
we'll make that very clear.
Make enemies of publishers who help us have a job. So
yeah.
Who is this man?
Hi.
It's me.
Mike.
Somewhere in there. It's me.
You know.
And now I'm used to it. Now I see it, I'm like, yeah, it's just.
Well, it is weird. You get it's like me. I can't picture myself with long hair anymore.
Yeah. It took me 3 minutes. I was like, that's what it looks like.
Someone was asking us to. As of right now,
yes,
the Ezra
Monster Mash I was asking, I think, right?
I think so. I can't find it now, but yes, somewhere
asking.
In here.
Okay, so as of right now, all of the Garfield games we have played.
Good to play.
What's number 1?
I don't know. I think I know what mine is. Mine's probably Wayfarers. Yeah, I think Wayfarers. I always want to come back to Wayfarers the most. It used to be Architects, but I think it's Wayfarers at this point.
1.
Ezra, I think, is going to be in the top 3 to 5, probably. I don't know if it's going to take over Wayfarers. Wayfarers and Scholars are probably my number 1 and 2 right now. I really, really like both those games a lot. I really want to play Scholars again.
At a glance, this is a snapshot. Don't hold me to this. I'm gonna go Wayfarers, Viscounts, Ezra.
Really?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's probably going to be Wayfarers, Scholars. My guess is Ezra, then Viscounts. That's my guess.
Yeah, I really want to play with Scholars again. It's just been too long, so it's not the recency bias isn't.
That's my unofficial list
Wayfarers
right now.
is
Wayfarers. I think is my number 1. It's so much fun.
So good.
I can't ever get enough of it.
So freaking good. I cannot wait for Inventors though.
Oh my god. They just keep getting better. So there's any other questions we've missed? Lots of who's the guy with the hat? Who is this man? Lots of those.
Mike.
Is Caverna hard to learn? How long is the gameplay of it? Depends on the player count. You can play literally 1 to 7, and it plays really good at all player counts.
Do not play higher than 4. Don't do it.
I would say it's granted, this is for a giant Uwe Rosenberg game. It's easier to learn than a lot of his other games strictly because of the fact that you can kind of teach certain things as you go.
And the action spaces are not complicated.
No.
They are often like, get some sheep.
Yes.
And put them places.
And every round you turn over a new action card. So you're like, okay, this action card does this. And you'll still have to do a lot of front load teaching before you actually get into the game. But there is some that you can kind of teach as you go. That's a good list we should do. Games you can teach as you go.
Yeah.
Little top 5 list. That'd be a good one. Because this is one where you can kind of teach some, not a lot. There's a lot of stuff you're just going to have to know beforehand. But like, I do think it's easier to get into than say like Feast for Odin. Because Feast for Odin is just like, here's all this stuff.
Yeah.
Mess around in this sandbox.
It's visually so overwhelming.
Yeah. So I think for a giant Uwe Rosenberg game, it's one of his easier ones.
But it's not a light game.
No.
I think getting in and starting to play is one thing, and figuring out like strategically what to do is a whole nother. Like, you play Caverna the first time, there's a lot of ways. Basically, you start off at negative a lot, and you have to work your way up to the positive, which is a very Uwe thing to do.
Mike no more. It's Michael now.
Getting that's very funny. Getting into positive points might be a struggle on that first play, but
it said, "Hey there, brothers. Will we be at PAX? If so, Fireland expansion will be awaiting you." Ooh, cool.
That's very kind. I mean, I think we have.
We have the Fireland expansion. Copy. To be fair, we don't know if we're gonna be at PAX yet. Hopefully, but we're not sure.
We're trying to find out. PAX brought us out to do a show last year, and we're hoping that they'll do it again, but we have not heard word. So we are trying to track down that info at the moment. We are really hoping to be there because it is one of our favorite cons of the year.
Yes, it is. It's my favorite big con by a huge margin, I think.
But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. So hopefully.
There's another one. Lawrence asked, did you play White Castle at any other player counts other than 2? Wondering how solo is or even 3 or 4. We have not.
Have not. Just played it 2. I really want to solo it, though, because I'm curious like what the solo is, because I imagine it might just be a like beat your own score situation.
I think the game will be tighter at 3 and 4 because there's not
Probably.
more worker placement, dice placement spots for higher player counts.
There are more dice. Well, okay, but the thing is, though, in 3 and 4 player games, if a person places dice there, you can stack on top of that.
That's right. Yes.
So it's actually you can only do that once,
but a higher die to do it.
No, but you do have to pay the difference if it's low.
That's right. Okay. So yeah. So I guess that's a good point.
So I think it'll be just fine at 3 and 4.
I think it'll also be good at solo if you just want like a puzzle of like, let's see how much I can do.
I'm really excited to play the solo because I'm hoping that's just a sort of get out of your own way and try to see like how much you can maximize because that would be dope.
Is Western Legends good at 2 players? I've never played it at 2.
I would not play it at 2 players.
I would probably not play it at 2. It's kind of a sandbox where you want interaction.
I played it at 3. We've played it a decent amount at 4.
I'm also not a huge fan.
Nick's not a fan in general.
So like,
it's down there. But I would not think to play it at 2. I wouldn't, because you want the chance of like you don't have to go in and fight each other. You don't. So I think it'll work just fine. But it's just it's going to be a different experience, and it's so much to set up and stuff that I'm kind of like, if I'm playing it, I want to like play it fully and have like a big experience because
I want to spend 4 hours playing it with like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that'd be my thought.
James said I asked a couple months ago, but haven't heard you mention it. Have you had a chance to play Revive yet?
No, but guess what? It's arriving in the mail today.
Oh, yeah,
so we will play it. We will play
Soon.
it.
Hopefully next month we'll have one
it
for you,
to
James.
us. Matago's sending it to us, and they're sending us the Western Legends little card game, the little trick-taking game.
2 players. I'm really excited for
Western
that
Legends
one.
Showdown.
Really
so
excited.
we will get a chance to play it
soon.
It is arriving in the mail per tracking today.
I was going to ask, speaking of getting rid of games you enjoy, what's your favorite game you got rid of but don't regret?
Ooh.
That's a good question. No raggerts.
Favorite game. So
that's a tough one. There's definitely some. Well, we're just like.
I'd have to take a look. Let me take a look at some of our Cole things, see if I can glean from the pictures. Stand by.
There's definitely a lot of games where it's like, this is a campaign game. We won't ever play this game. Or it's just too big to get to the table. Yeah, look through all that, Mike. I'll answer some questions while you do it. That's a good question though, and there's definitely some where we're like, I don't regret getting this, but I love this game. There's definitely some of those. Revive and Darwin's Journey are my games for the top of the year. I didn't know she was that far along.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
My wife's sister just had a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Congrats to Robin and Luke and all the girls. Huh?
That's my 4th niece.
Yeah, it was a fleet of ladies.
I got 4 nieces at this point. You got 3, so I guess you're kind of saying, oh my gosh.
Yes, I do.
Nothing but girls. Tal's got a girl. Stefan's got a girl.
Yeah, we're in a girl generation. I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
I'm very here for it.
Oh my gosh, that's my 4th niece. Oh my Lord. I did not know she was that far along. Sorry. Baby pictures came through.
I just knew. Robin is just that kind of, like, I'm completely unsurprised. Like, yeah, baby's here. I'm just like, of course.
Of course.
Robin's just like, I really want to wait because I have to teach a dance class first. And I know for a fact that she taught that dance class and got the baby to be born on her schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
Impressive.
Zanma asks, have you seen the upcoming game from Lucky Ducks, a non-prototype version of Food Chain Magnate? Yes, and I'm very excited to play it.
Super hype. Thank you for making it a
nicer version of Food Chain
finally.
Magnate is something I have been asking for years because I refuse to play the other one. If you have played more modern worker placement games, I don't think Cavern would be hard to pick up. I totally agree with that. If you've played other Uwe games kind of thing, I think you'd be fine. Did your baby freak out when she saw you beardless? No.
No, because I brought her into the process. I shaved with her present. And I showed her, hey, these are the clippers I'm going to use, and here's how they sound like. And I did one little strip, and they said, like, feel it, feels different. And showed her me shaving. So she got to see the transition. And for a minute, she was kind of like a little like, okay, but it wasn't the shock factor. I really didn't want to do that to her. And it was like, honestly, like, awesome. Yeah, it was really...
A 5-1 said, so White Castle and Darwin's Journey are front runners for both you guys for the game of the year. It's front for me. Would you say Darwin's Journey is also in the front right there?
It's up there.
Okay, yeah. For me, it's pretty neck and neck between the two. Dude, it really comes down to how good the Fireside expansion is for Darwin's Journey. It might be more, but at least for me, and then looks like for Mikey too. Those are the pretty clear front runners right now. They're really good. I mean, but it's also one of those things that's like it's weird because like there's always kind of stuff where it's like. Sometimes games that we played like last year are technically this year's releases. Yeah. Like we played like say Scholars, but Scholars will probably be this year.
Yeah, maybe.
But so it's one of those things where sometimes there's also weirdness with that. But yeah, I would say for sure. Where do you like to shop for games? I personally really like to shop at stores. I love nothing more than just walking around a game store. If I have a game store near me, I'll usually bop in and just like do a couple laps and then bounce or maybe buy something small. So I personally like to buy from game stores. Other than that, usually get stuff off like a miniature market or Game Nerds or something.
I'm just scanning through real quick. So at a quick glance, like a game I don't regret getting of is Terraform Mars. Terraform Mars.
Yeah, because we
no
have
regrets
digital.
getting rid of it. Whatever. Yeah. We can play digital. We have Ares Expedition.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely one.
No regret. I don't. And also, you will never struggle to find a copy of that game.
Yeah.
If you're at a con or something. So yeah. To go back. Sorry, it's been a while now since that question got asked. Yeah. No regrets whatsoever. Everdell, same thing. Like, not concerned at all with having got rid of it. And that's not because they're bad games at all. It's just like, I'm good. And those games are around. So we're good.
Indeed.
Don't need it.
Would love to see y'all do a Vladimir Suki rank list. We probably will.
Yeah.
At some point.
We really want to try Shipyard, the new edition, when it comes out.
Yeah.
Really, of course, want to play Evacuation when it comes out. Yes, next year we could probably do a Suki list. That'd be pretty awesome.
We've played enough at this point to get at least like a 7 to 10.
Good handful. Yeah. Good handful.
Yeah. Hype for White Castle, other combo-wise, how does it compare to Fantastic Factories? God, it's been a little while since we played Fantastic Factories.
I don't see... I mean, I guess you're drafting dice and putting it on the spots, but I don't see any overlap, really.
I would say combo-wise, it's probably more. I definitely like... We got rid of Fantastic Factories because we thought it was good, but we did need to keep it.
I wish we had tried some of the expansion stuff, but I don't think it would have changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Gosh.
So Pulsar is great, too. Yeah, I like Pulsar more than I think Mikey does.
I don't like Pulsar, though. I like it just fine. I don't know. It's good though. I don't know.
I really like it.
It won't be in my top of my list.
No, it's not. It'll be much higher on my list.
Not a bad game at all.
If we separate our lists.
But yeah. I don't know. Just thinking through connections I could make to Fantastic Factories. I like White Castle a lot more.
Yeah. Have you seen the game Arceus? It looks cool, kind of cool to me. I don't know. What is that? Am I looking that up? Yeah, I don't know. Have you had a chance to play Revive? The second person asked that. No, we're not. It's coming today. So hopefully it'll be on our Rapid Reviews next month. So make sure to check out Rapid Reviews next month. We have not had a chance to play it yet.
Oh, whoa. Crazy cover.
Oh, wow.
Oh, creepy.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
But any last questions here before we get out of here? Mike is going to look up this.
Spoil the two. Oh, okay.
Have you talked about Apiary at all? Seen videos of it recently? We have not really talked about it because we haven't played it yet. We want to get it.
I watched Monique and Naveen's overview and thoughts on the game yesterday, and it got me pretty dang excited for it. I didn't know it was going to be kind of like a beefier Euro kind of game. Yeah, I really want to try it. The production's amazing. It looks really good. So I really want to try that one.
Favorite party game of the year?
Of this year?
What came out this year? Party game-wise?
I mean, Everything Ever was really good. I really like that.
That's probably my favorite because that's the only one I can think of that came out this year. If anyone's thinking of a party game that we've maybe played that came out this year, I'm going to go with Everything Ever because that's the only one I can think of. And I do really like Everything Ever, but like...
Ancient Steampunk Egypt revealed the mysteries of Arceus. It's Antoine Bauza.
Okay.
And Ludovic Malblanc and Theo Riviere. So
it's that crew.
And
the Draftosaurus
crew.
It's
the Fantastic French Four,
as
we call it.
Yeah.
Designers. So you know it's going to be good then. They did like Familiar Tales or
able to get some sleep around babies. Mike's sleep schedule is, let's say, erratic.
Last 2 nights have not been great, I'll tell you that much.
I sleep great.
Your Bentley spoof was hilarious. Karen gave massive praise, too. I think it's the funniest thing we ever did. In terms of just pure, like, straight comedy, just the shot-for-shot comparison were so spot on, man. Nick crushed that while babysitting Logan while she was taking a nap. He wasn't neglecting Logan.
To be fair, she was asleep.
I'm saying, man, dude, like, wait, just fit it in.
Well, it was one of the things, like, you weren't here, Karen wasn't here. I was like, well, I guess I'll make this sketch I've been wanting to do because I have nothing else to do.
Yeah. Can't wait to try Apiary.
Someone said, do you have any copies of your Specialized Unmatched set? Gotta play as you both. We have a couple extra copies.
We do, and we will be doing another
selling it again.
Yeah, we'll be doing another Kickstarter campaign next year.
Probably May. April, May, somewhere there. Yeah,
we'll have another game as well, another little 18-card micro game that a buddy and I are working on. A couple versions of it, in fact, and we'll resell our unmurphed set.
Yes, so you will be able to get it again
as well. There.
Do not
So
buy
you'll
it
be able to get it.
like on eBay.
Yeah, don't. If anyone's selling it
We sell it for like $30. Don't pay more than
Don't
that.
do it.
Don't pay more than that. Are there any games you've gotten rid of and had to get back? Did that with Yamatai this year. We got back Azul.
Got back
Slivers
Azul.
earlier asked how many times we bought Azul. I think 2 or 3 times. Have we gotten? Is there anything else we've ever actually bought back? Azul's one. There's definitely we've done a top 10 games we regret getting rid of.
Yeah, I could see us doing it with a couple others, but I think Azul's the only thing we've rebought. We bought Azul Mini, and I'm happy we did.
Yeah, I like the mini version. I don't need the giant one.
So you're looking handsome, fella. Stop it.
Thanks, boo boo.
You quit it.
I don't think we've rebought anything. Oh, we rebought Pandemic, but that's because our old version got lost. I don't think we've ever rebought a game other than we bought Azul Mini after we'd gotten rid of Azul. I think that's honestly it. I don't think we've ever gotten rid of it.
I don't think we've bought something, regretted it, and rebought it. But there are a few things that I'm like, I would consider it. I would consider doing that.
Yeah.
So
If I found it cheap somewhere, I'd do it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Every once in a while, you're like, oh, we should have gotten rid of that. There's a whole list for it. Go watch that list.
Yeah.
All right, fam. I think we're going to get on out of here. We've been here for, oh, gosh, almost 2 hours. Yeah, let's get on out of here.
D says, I tried to design a roll and write, utterly failed. It was so rubbish. Designing games is hard.
It's insanely hard.
It's really hard. And like you think, you get it in your brain, like, okay, yeah, I've got this up and running. You try it and it falls apart immediately. And that's what game design is. It's like iteration after iteration of like, that wasn't good. Honestly, I think a lot of it's just like sticking to it until you get to something decent. And it's hard. It's really hard.
You got it. All right, fam, well, that is Rapid Reviews. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here live. Again, we do these usually in the first week of the month, so make sure to look out if you want to be here live. Make sure to like this video if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't already. Big shout out to our new patrons this month. We really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. This month, there is going to be a whole ton of playthroughs. We have a whole ton of playthroughs this month. Please make sure to check them out. Check out all the other stuff, too. We love you all to death, and we're going to get on out of here.
Please thumb this video up if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate that. Helps us out a lot, and we'll catch y'all next month, eh?
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye. Da, 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 da.